Well, well, well. So the Cowboys had an off day today. But nevertheless, that did not stop the Dallas Cowboys, especially the coaches, from having plenty of interviews today. And not only the coaches, but even some of the players had interviews. And not only did the player have interviews, I'm not sure when they did this, but it might have been today, but the Cowboys have actually been doing some player bonding, and we're going to talk about all of that today. But nevertheless, I am very interested to hear the things that these coaches have to say, because at the end of the day, I believe one of the things the Cowboys have realized is that coaching matters. And before I show you the interviews of Christian Parker, and before I show you the interviews of Klayton Adams, I want to show you something that I believe aired yesterday as it applies to the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to show you why, once again, everything that everyone keeps saying, the Cowboys are starting to look eerily similar to the Seattle Seahawks. And I believe they have realized more than ever, coaching matters. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. What is going on tonight, Dallas Cowboys fans? The Dallas Cowboys took the day off, but I did not take the day off. I had a couple of things to take care of. But nevertheless, I am here, and we are going to talk Cowboys for the next 2 to 2.5 hours. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, 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 Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot of great things coming up this season on this channel. Now let's talk facts. Oh yeah, we live. There's nothing else on TV. We might as well talk Cowboys for a little while tonight. There is nothing on TV these days. Let's talk facts. So, this is what we're going to try to get into the show tonight. We're going to listen to the Christian Parker interview. We're going to listen to the Klayton Adams interview. Dak Prescott gave a very interesting interview to CBS, telling what he thinks about these quarterback tiers. And I have a few things that I'm also going to fit inside of that Dak Prescott interview. Also, I want to revisit something I talked about yesterday with the injury news, because we kind of talked about it at the end of the show. I want to circle the block on that and really get some comments on that to see what y'all think about the Dallas Cowboys, quote unquote, not the injuries that they're not worried about. Then, also, Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue gave an interview I'm very interested in hearing. Revel Jr. gave an interview. Man, they got interviews all over the place. I couldn't even get them all in tonight. And then I'm going to show you something in case you haven't seen it over there on X. But the Dallas Cowboys are posting over there on X about how they have been bonding as a team. So everything you see on the list, we're going to try to get to, and more things that I don't have on the list. All that and more on Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Yeah, let's get this roll call in. Let's go. Oh, you California folk. Oh, it's early for y'all, huh? I see you, Aztec. You said it's on the 10:38 over there, man. It's 12:38. It's 12:38 where I am. It is 12:38. JTX Made is in the building. What is going on? He said, I'm a truck driver, so I'm going to have you in the speakers throughout tonight. Let's go, JTX Made. What up, Turl Singer? Senior, what's going on? Will the Fourth. Yes, that's right. Will the Fourth. What's going on? Andre Johnson, good to see you. The real estate vet. What you doing up this late, real estate? I know you got an early morning. You said I'm on Prime buying more Cowboy merchandise. And up pops Cowboys after dark. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it. What up, Neil Downs? Derek Jones in the building. Easy E, we want easy. What up, Ruthless? Kirk Womack, what's up? Ahmad Serrano, what's going on? Good to see you. Salute, hallelujah. Timothy Johnson, what is going on? Yeah, we doing late night. Justin Harris, what is going on? Azteca in the building. It is the man, JCT Slice. Number 1, Dak Prescott fan. I'm number 2. JCT Slice said, G, things are good. Dak threw a pick, which is good because that means the defense is making plays. Hurt 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's having a hard time over there. Playing it too safe, and Shady's making excuses for him. We still have 4. Let's go. Amber, Soprano, Matrix, Miss Matrix, I made it. I made it. What's going on, Big Monkey? Man, I wish I had Mike Tyson money. What's going on? Justin Harris, he said it's 1:30 where he is. Smelly Ellie, what's going on? Yeah, I got a little something on that, Smelly Ellie. I see what you did there, Smelly Ellie. Yeah, Quentin Williams. Yeah, we got some great defensive tackles, I'm telling you right now. What's going on, Jimmy Bailey? Timothy Govin, what's going on? Brandon Bledsoe, to God be the glory. Let's go. All right. Even if it's 20 or if it's 20,000, we are about to talk Cowboys. Let's go. All right, I appreciate y'all rocking with me this late night. Everybody can't stay up late like this, so I'm not gonna trip. There don't be many of us tonight. Everybody can't do this 2 and 3 times a week. Some of us, on the other hand, depends on who we are. We are night owls, so there's nothing on television. We might as well talk Cowboys. So I want to flip over here first to the Christian Parker interview from today. Christian Parker, always cool, calm, collected, and, you know, he gives you very direct answers. So very interested to hear what he had to say tonight. Let's see. Let's flip on over here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our first segment for the night. Let's break this down and see what Christian Parker has to say.
Yes! Here we go!
This is how we assess who your defense is right now.
I think we're embracing the play style that we want to stay with. You know, I think guys are just really trying to harp on the details and give the next level knowledge to the defense that we're really focusing on. You know, we talk about it kind of getting your undergraduate degree in the OTAs, and now we're working towards our masters, and that's more of an accelerated program. You know, so we got to get going quick. So the guys are doing a great job.
Wait. Hold on a second. Y'all are going to call me a prophet before it's all said and done. Anybody who's been over here listening to me, what did I tell you Christian Parker was? Christian Parker is the accelerated program. What is the phrase he just used? Accelerated program. Yeah, I'm telling y'all. I was using this language 3 and 4 weeks ago. Christian Parker is the accelerated program. He is like no other coach, defense coordinator the Cowboys have hired. Even though this is his first year being a defense coordinator, I'm telling you right now, Brian Schottenheimer sold this man. Schottenheimer sold this man. I'm sure other people sold this man. Everybody talked about how pivotal he was to some of the things that Vic Fangio has been doing over the last couple of seasons. They sold Jerry on Jerry. This isn't a Mike Nolan. This isn't a Mike Zimmer. This guy is going to come in and he's going to immediately change your team. Change your team. And so it's the accelerated program. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. And that's why even Christian Parker is using this language. We're not coming, what Christian Parker is saying, we're not coming out of training camp and waiting until Thanksgiving to get the defense down. Do y'all realize the last 2 defense coordinators the Cowboys had, the defense didn't show up until Thanksgiving? And unfortunately for Matt Eberflus, his defense showed up right after the Marshawn Nealon passing, and it disappeared within 3 games. No more of that stuff. They are trying to, and I believe they will, they're going to hit the ground running. I used this language before anybody else did. Accelerated program. Now you hear Christian Parker saying the same thing about that accelerated program. You better believe it's accelerated. Yeah, you better believe it. Brandon Green, he said, "What up, G?" He said, "I want to say to you last live stream. Feels to me this defense isn't ego-driven anymore like the past few years. The egos are gone. We're playing together, Diggs, Parsons, D-Law." And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence. See, DeMarcus Lawrence will never admit it. But DeMarcus Lawrence was a part of the problem, too. He was a part of the problem. That's why I was laughing when he was talking about Michael Parsons and some of the things going on in Dallas. He was a part of it. He had an ego, too. That's why him and Michael Parsons were clashing. Old regime versus new regime. Old leader versus Michael wanna be the leader. Unk, whatever you call him, versus YN. It was a total, utter mess. DeMarcus Lawrence was a part of the problem, too. And now we got a defense in here where the players are all playing together. The defense is one for all for one. No egos. They all know they got skill. They come in they're coming in here to win. Yeah, Amber Soprano, hell after Thanksgiving. I'm telling you, this defense, it was like we would be late in the season. Oh, we finally got it. Timothy Goldman said Turpin. He said, "Hey, G, Turpin shouldn't be added to the receiving room. He's in the receiving room because he got an $18 million contract. That's why he's in the receiving room. He got speed. He's a home run threat, and he got an $18 million deal. You better believe he's gonna be in there. Reason why he must focus on the return game. I agree, but he gonna still be out there. I want them to put him back in the return room and let him be the gadget guy again. We don't need him to be on the offense 20 and 30% of the time. No, when he's in, let it be either deception, trick play, or a go route, but nothing else. Nothing else. You got Ryan Flournoy now. You don't have to be playing around. You don't have to be playing around like you don't have no receiver. Ryan Flournoy is your third wide receiver. Let's not disrespect him with that nonsense. He said this is why he was paid, not receiving. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know how they, sometimes how Steve and them talk is that when you get paid, they feel like that you're supposed to do more. But I'm with you. Let's put him back in the return room. Let him focus on that because he'll really help us on special teams. And when we put him out there on offense, let's make it count. Let him be the gadget guy.
More about the physicality, or it's just understanding what they want you to do?
Both.
Still Dallas Cowboys. You talk about the linebackers for a minute, Overshown, and what you guys are asking him to do as far as the green dot. Is he middle? Is he weak? Is he playing both? And with the other guys?
Yeah, I think we're still working on different combinations there. He's doing a good job manning the huddle and doing the things with the green dot, and other guys are as well. So at this period of time, like every linebacker has the communicator in their helmet. It's just a matter of who's at that position and who we're giving it to on that given bracket of plays. But Demo's doing a good job. He's flying around. He's kind of like accelerating his detail of the scheme and understanding the offensive situations as well. So we're happy with his progress.
All right, let me read something Justin Harris said. It's a great point. Justin Harris said Parsons didn't want to learn and D-Law didn't want to teach. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oil and water don't mix. Oil and water don't mix. What's up, Lonnie Cabal? I'm going to tell you something, man, about DeMarion Overshown. We're going to talk about this when we get to our injury portion because I want to revisit it. DeMarion Overshown, and I'm telling you, and I think we all probably are in this thought process. Very concerned about DeMarion Overshown. Very concerned. I'm not concerned about his ability. I'm not even concerned, as some are, about DeMarion Overshown playing the green dot. Of course he can do it. There's no doubt in my mind he can do it. The issue for him is staying on the field. That's the issue. The last practice, we found out he had to sit out practice because he was having leg soreness. Why do you think he would be having leg soreness? Now, if he hadn't had 2 knee injuries over the last few years, I wouldn't have thought nothing of he's having leg injuries. I mean, leg soreness. And I mentioned this, and I don't know if y'all remember, but when they came out, I believe, for the first padded practice, or maybe it was even before that, they had Overshown kind of out there working out with Brett, working out with the ropes. And I was concerned because I said, I'm concerned. I wouldn't be concerned if that was somebody else. It's Demo. Of course I'm concerned. Anytime I see him working out with the training staff, spending extra time with the training staff, I'm concerned. And then they said he had leg soreness. The only one Demo is battling is himself. If Demarion Overshown was not battling injuries for the last few seasons, this wouldn't even be a conversation. He would be the green dot. And the only reason the Cowboys might not allow him to be the green dot, he wasn't on the field. He wasn't on the field yesterday. He wasn't on the field. It's Wednesday. He wasn't on the field Tuesday. So how can you let him be the green dot? Jayshawn Barham played the green dot. They said Jayshawn Barham played the green dot well. Man, I got a feeling. The only thing that will stop him from being the green dot, it will be he can't stay on the field. That's it. Andre Johnson said he got a feeling. He said Demo not going to be the green dot. He's got a feeling. And I'm telling you, Johnson, if he don't be the green dot, it will be because of injury. Nothing else. Nothing else. It will be nothing else except for injury. That's it. And I believe the Cowboys are real scared about whether he will get injured or not. Amber Soprano said they tried to cover it up saying it was cramps. I'm with you on that, G. Yeah, I'm not buying cramps. They can give you an IV and you can get right back out there. I'm with you, Amber. I'm not buying this whole thing about cramps. Xavier said, Mom, I'm going to die before Dallas. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to be alive when they win it, Xavier. Don't you worry. They're going to get it over the next 2 seasons. Brandon Bledsoe said Overshown won't be a Cowboy next year. Brandon, let me tell you something. Listening to them talk about Barham and then Overshown saying that he wants to remain a Cowboy for life. Hey, Brandon, I tell you this. I'm close to. I'm not gonna say I'm close. But I'm right now, if I was on a scale of 0 to 100, I'm at about 30%. It wouldn't shock me if Demarion Overshown is not with the Cowboys next year. It wouldn't shock me because they got to do we're going to see, man, they got to do quite a few contracts. They're going to start talking about them after the season. What's going on, Tommy Solo? What is going on? I'm telling you, man, I'm concerned. If Demo stays healthy, I think he'll be the green dot. But I'm struggling with this, man. He got to stay on the field.
You know, generally it's been a weak side guy, run sideline to sideline. Does that change when he's playing Mike, and how much, is there one position that fits him best?
I would say with all the motion and stuff you get in the NFL now, some of that is overrated in terms of where they start, because very quickly if somebody moves and they can't switch, you're playing a different position by nature, right? So on the blackboard it looks one way, but in principle on the field it looks another. So just getting those guys as much exposure to both type of spots as possible with the different calls, different formations that we know we're seeing is the most important thing right now.
Christian Todd Archer with ESPN, you mentioned embracing the play style. Can you define that play style? What do you want it to be?
Yeah, I think that the first thing is we want to be detailed in our work and our fundamentals and technique, and obviously the mastery of the scheme. But there's an element of violence and physicality that we want to play with, that we will play with. So I think it's just kind of tying all those things together in terms of knowing your job, knowing what the man next to you is doing, who are you connected to, are you on an island on that certain play, and then doing that with an attitude and the physicality required to play this game.
Then next week practice against the Rams. Shotty told us the starters aren't going to play in the preseason. What's the importance of these practices, seeing another team, even if it's not, taking to the ground football?
Yeah, I think it's real important, especially, as much experience as Coach McVay has and Matthew Stafford at that position. The pre-snap looks and the motions and the things they do formationally, they've been a very successful offense during his tenure there. So it's going to be a good test for us to,
where
we're at, and make sure our eyes are right and we're playing with the right demeanor.
Yes,
athletic. But Shavon Revel, we see him the other day getting some pass breakups once the pads come on. What's the next step for him?
I think the next step for him is just making sure that he's able to live in a single play. And what I mean by that is, okay, what's the split here? What's the situation? What am I defending with a certain play call? Because he has all the physical attributes. So everything with him now is just working on everything from the neck up and just make sure that we're thinking the game properly. And that's a quick, 2 or 3 second assessment, because once you're getting in your stance and you're ready to play ball, you want to play with a clear mind. So just being able to do that and just finish plays. But he's doing a good job. He's extremely hardworking. He's extremely willing. He wants to be coached. He runs towards that. So we're really excited about how he's progressing with everything we're doing so far.
And then
it sounds like they're talking about Shavon Revel Jr. Christian Parker is going to turn Shavon Revel Jr. If Shavon Revel Jr. stays healthy, Christian Parker is going to turn Shavon Revel Jr. into one of the best defensive backs in this game. You watch what I tell you. Shavon Revel Jr., if he stays healthy, he will be one of the top 5 defensive backs in this game over the next 2 to 3 years. He's got that kind of ability. He just got to stay healthy. That's it. And if he'll listen to Christian Parker, even though he's letting the defensive backs coaches do their thing and, coach whatever position they're coaching, because he's not over the defensive backs. He's the defense coordinator, from what my understanding is overall. But he's still putting in time. He's still putting in quite a bit of time working with those defensive backs. He's going to turn he's going to turn Shavon Revel Jr. He's going to turn Caleb Downs. He's going to improve Cobie Durant. And he's going to turn Devin Moore. I'm telling you, the Cowboys got their cornerbacks of the future. Devin Moore, Shavon Revel Jr. They got their cornerbacks of the future. Unfortunately, I can't remember. I think we may have Cobie Durant on a 1-year deal. I can't remember if it's 2 or not. But Cobie Durant is probably going to play so well. He's going to play him. I think Cobie Durant may actually play himself out of Dallas. Cobie Durant is that good. I think he's going to play himself out of Dallas. But they have their future. Their future cornerbacks are here. Christian Parker is going to turn Shavon Revel Jr. into an absolute monster over the next couple of seasons. You watch what I tell you. What's going on, Braves Cowboys? Good to see you. Yeah, Tommy Solo, Parker sounds like a teacher, man. There's no doubt. JTX, man, I was listening to what you're saying here. Let me see, is that you said this? Yeah, you said he hurt his leg on a celebration. And this is why you got to be careful when you do this stuff. You really got to be careful. Man, when you coming off of injuries and stuff, any little thing could tweak and set you back. Because this is what happened to Shavon Revel Jr. last year. Shavon Revel Jr. last year got set back doing a drill. And I'm telling you, I can remember that drill like yesterday. He had a setback doing a simple drill. And so DeMarion Overshown likes to do a lot of the celebrating and things of that nature. And so just when he said he had the best knees in football, you just got to be careful coming off of back-to-back injuries. You really do. And it just may be for DeMarion Overshown, honestly, it just may be bad timing, man. Bad timing trying to play the position. Brandon said he think he would be better at the wheel, not the mic. He would thrive at the wheel using his speed and violence. So, yeah, the reason why you didn't hear about this green dot until this year, Tommy Solo, is because of the mess they had going on with Kenneth Murray Jr. It was a hot mess. Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray Jr., it was all a hot mess. And so because of all of that, man, the Cowboys have really put an emphasis on this whole thing about the Mike linebacker.
Same thing about with Jayshawn Barham.
Yeah, Jayshawn is, we had a vision for him when we drafted him, and that's coming to life. I think he brings a certain physicality and demeanor to the inside of the defense, and you feel that. So same thing with him. Any young player, you're at a different level, So the offensive information, how the play style is, the rules of the game, all those different things. It's a constant.
I thought I did just sell you on the cornerback room, Miss Matrix. I thought I just sold you on the cornerback room. I think the cornerback room is good. That's what I basically just explained. I think Revel Jr. over the next couple of seasons, I think he's going to turn him into a superstar. Devin Moore, I think he's going to turn him into a superstar. Deron Bland is going to be here for 2 years. There's nothing we can do about Deron Bland. So only thing we can hope for Deron Bland is that Deron Bland gets back to form. But I think the cornerback room is better than you tell me. I think the cornerback room is better than people think. I really do, Miss Matrix. I mean, I think Cobie Durant, again, I think he's going to play his way out. I think he's going to play himself out of Dallas. Cobie Durant is really, really good. He's really, really good. So, I don't know, maybe the Cowboys will work out something with him, but I don't know. The Cowboys are teetering on, they're going to be having some serious conversations here over the next few months because you got to think about it. You got to extend Quentin Williams, make a decision on George Pickens. You're probably going to bring in a player depending upon who that is. I think Ryan Flournoy is going to require a deal. DeMarion Overshown is going to require a deal. Cobie Durant going to ball out, and he's going to probably require a deal. Cowboys got a lot of decisions to make. They really do. But again, I think I thought I sold you. If I'm reading correct, I thought I did just sell you on the Cowboys cornerback room. I mean, I think they got the cornerbacks in the future. Devin Moore, and Shavon Revel Jr. Shavon Revel Jr. is starting to look like a first-round pick. I want to see what he looks like against the Rams, though. I really do. I want to see what he looks like against the Rams. But he's starting to look really, really good. Big thing with him, he just got to stay healthy. That's the issue. Just got to stay healthy. Braves said our cornerback room better than last year. That's for dang sure. Yeah. And I don't know if that's saying a whole lot. But yeah, you're right. It's way better. But I think it's actually better, Braves Cowboys. I think it's better than most people give it credit for. I mean, Cobie Durant, I think is better. I think Cobie Durant is like, man, I think Cobie Durant is like exceeding expectations for a lot of people. So the big thing is, and again, Deron Bland, let's be a little patient with Deron Bland. He's looked pretty good. I haven't seen anything bad. I think there's been a couple of pass breakups. So between him, Durant, Shavon Revel Jr., Devin Moore getting himself involved a little bit. Again, I think the cornerback room may be a little bit better than we thought. But we're going to see when we're going to see against the Rams. I want to see it against the Rams. Tommy Solo, yeah, Cobie Durant is good enough to keep that number 2. He is. Absolutely. Now, next year, he ain't keeping that number 2. He's going to have to get that number 2. He's going to have to get that number 2. He's going to probably give it up anyway because he's going to be gone. He'll probably be gone next year because I'm telling you, he's going to play himself out of Dallas, I think. I think because the Cowboys already got young talent in place, like Shavon Revel Jr., because you'll have to run Bland. So Shavon Revel Jr. just steps into the Cobie Durant spot, and then Devin Moore steps into the third cornerback. So you're going to have everything set up, but we better enjoy Cobie Durant because from what I'm seeing, man, Cobie Durant is on a mission too. He's on a mission, and he may actually help us have a really good run in the playoffs. Yeah. What's going on, old school? Good to see you. What up, Michael Tyree? Yeah, Michael Tyree said you have to go for it all this season. Yeah, we're going to do what we got to do. We're going to have to do what we got to do. Yeah. Amber Soprano, yeah, first things first. We got to get Quentin done. Then GP, yeah.
An educational approach when you have young players. So you want to allow them to keep it simple and clean to play fast, by also kind of elevating their knowledge of the game, so we can execute and maximize each call.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Kind of on that note, you obviously had a lot of success with the guys in Philly, the young guys, obviously Pat Surtain in Denver. Getting these young guys ready to go quickly, what goes into that?
It's a lot. I think you want to, number one, be as detailed as you can, but also make it simplistic for them and do things in buckets so they can, compartmentalize the information that you need them to know. Everybody has learned a playbook at some point in their career, right? And some college defenses are more advanced from a sense of volume and things like that than they are in the NFL in some instances. So the difference is the level of detail. They don't have to worry about study hall and, doing those things that college students have to do anymore, if they still have to do them anyways now. But, they don't have to worry about those things. So then it's the NFL 101, as we call it. What are the rules? There's going to be a DB in every preseason game, every year, not every preseason game, but every year in the preseason. Receiver catches the ball, he doesn't get touchdown. So those NFL 101 principles, formation awareness, situational awareness, field awareness, all of those different things that it takes to play the NFL style game, you want to advance that with them so then they can play with a clear mind and focus on their detail and fundamentals schematically.
It seems like it's coming to life a little bit with Caleb and Jay-Sean and Malachi too. How much also credit goes to them for being quick learners and getting up to speed as much as they have so far?
Yeah, I think a lot of it does. I think that's something that we really assess in the draft process. We can, really assess that in that process, and I think our staff is doing a phenomenal job with those guys as well. I mean, the time they put in individually with those guys and also in the meeting room to get them up to speed, they're working extremely hard and really taking a collaborative approach in terms of, kind of shortening the curve for those guys.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. Christian, you've talked about how important communication.
We're going to look back, I believe, and I've talked about this before. We're going to be looking back and saying certain things, I believe, about this team, because I do believe they're going to accomplish some things that teams have not accomplished over the last 30 years. I think they're going to accomplish some things. And we're going to be looking back in particular at this draft and what they did this season. The draft they had was absolutely incredible. You know how hard it is to go inside of a draft and get as many potential starters and contributors that the Cowboys have actually picked up? Cowboys had a monster draft. The draft they had last year was really good. There's only one player from that draft from last year I'm kind of like, I don't know what he's going to be, and he may not turn out, and it may be two of them, but I'm thinking Jay Toya. Don't really know about him. And then Shamar James. We're going to see how it works out with him. But when you look at the biggest acquisition they had last year, Tyler Booker was an incredible pickup. Donovan Ezeraku, we're going to see. He plays the run really well. We got to see what he does with the pass. I think Shavon Revel Jr. is going to be great for him. Jaden Blue, I believe he's about to pay dividends. We'll see what happens with Phil Moff and how he works himself in. But we're going to look back at what they've done over the last couple of seasons, and depending upon, what happens this year and then next season, everything's going to come to, I believe, to fruition. The Cowboys have been having some incredible drafts, 2 drafts. I think this one was incredible, though, when you look at the fact they got LT Overton, they got Devin Moore, they got Jayshon Barham, Malachi Lawrence, Caleb Downs. I mean, when you think about the players that they got in this draft, and you really can't say, you got to add George Pickens to the mix too. Even though he was a trade, they gave up a 3rd round pick. That all counts in there. Man, we're going to look back on this Cowboys team, and we're going to realize just how incredible it is, some of the things that they did. And so, just as he was mentioning, man, all the rookies, you got 3 rookies we know for a fact they're going to contribute. I said from the get-go, Jayshon Barham, Malachi Lawrence, LT Overton, they're going to contribute. Caleb Downs, they're all going to contribute. They're all going to contribute. All right, you said Cobie Durant picked off Caleb twice. Who was Caleb? Cobie Durant picked off Caleb twice. Oh, Caleb Williams. Man, I think about that second. Hold on. Okay, yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a great player. Real estate vet said Jerry caught up with the times with the hiring of these coaches. No more of those 90-style coaches. Man, you are not lying, bro. I believe Jerry's been trying to catch that genie in a bottle for way too long. I just think he's I think he's been doing it way too long, man. It's just time. It was time, and it is time. And Jerry is doing what he's supposed to be doing, doggone it. I'm telling y'all, man, keep playing with me. Keep playing with me. Y'all gonna call me a prophet before it's over. Watch what I tell you. Jerry Jones is gonna be in the conversation of GM of the year. If it's not this year, it'll be next year. Jerry Jones has been involved in just 2 seasons. Jerry Jones has been involved in 3 of the biggest trades in the NFL and has gotten some of the biggest picks in the NFL draft. I mean, you name it. Jerry has done it over the last few seasons. Trades, drafting, free agent. Jerry Jones is doing GM of the year stuff. It's just got to culminate into some results. The GM for the Seattle Seahawks, he got GM of the year last year. He didn't get GM of the year for what he did last year. He got GM of the year for what he did over those 3 years that led to the Super Bowl. That's what he got GM of the year for. And so keep playing. Keep playing. Jerry's going to work himself in there. Tommy Solos and Jorge Randy Mouse. Pickens, yep. How could you doubt that kid? The only guy I've ever seen wait to catch the ball until the ball is there. Man, I'm telling you, that's an incredible skill, Tommy Solos. Appreciate that. You said you the best host on YouTube. YouTube, boy, no, and I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Compliment, God be the glory. All right, let's see. Let's keep going with Christian Party.
Is for you in this defense. How have you seen your players buy into that and communicate early on here?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you step in our meeting room and you hear how loud it is, you might think something wrong is going on, and that's a good thing. You know, guys are understanding what needs to be said. And I think, you know, communication is 2 parts, right? So it's giving and receiving. So I can't just be aimlessly yelling and saying a bunch of things if I don't know who I'm talking to, what those words mean, how that changes things, when we can adjust something, when we can't. So I think they're taking that next step in terms of who am I speaking to, and also if I'm receiving that communication, I got to make sure my ears are open. I need to know who I'm listening for. But they're definitely taking that to heart. We still have more to go, but there's a lot of encouraging things that are happening from a vocal standpoint.
And specifically on Caleb, how have you seen him embrace his first NFL training camp, and what have you made of the work he's done at nickel and at safety? Yeah,
I think he's embraced it from what we expected. You know, he's very willing, he's very curious. And I think that, going to the previous question, curiosity is one thing for young players that you really look for. They want to know the why behind everything. We give them that up front, the intent behind each thing that we're trying to do. And so I think with him, he has that natural spirit about him, for sure. And I think that he's managing both positions well. You know, we kind of have a certain plan for him each day in terms of how that looks. We do that for every player. But he's really embracing, what we're trying to do with him and overall as a defense.
Coach, Sydney Staples, DG10 Sports, we've been told by players, coaches alike, that you're a really good teacher. Who are teachers and coaches of your past, and I mean school, football, regardless, that you kind of pull from in any way? Yeah,
I think, going back to college, I think, Dr. Ernest McGowan, he was my campaigns and elections teacher my junior year. And, I think the way he compartmentalized information and taught me was real important. I think, my parents as well, my mom was really hard on me from an academic standpoint. So you kind of learn the importance of learning progressions and teaching progressions as well, coming from her and my dad too. I think coaching wise, I've been around a lot of really good ones. I think that have coached me, number one, but I've also been able to coach with, so from, Latrell Scott and Mike London and Bob Trott. Brandon Streeter, some of those guys, they were always detailed. They always had a plan, and there was an order of operation in terms of how you learn. Zon Burden is another one from when I was a player. And then I think as a coach, when you get to that next level in the NFL, you have so much more time to do that, and you can get more creative because you're dealing with adults who don't have to worry about algebra and, geometry and earth science and all that. Like, they're worried about football. So Jerry Gray and Jason Simmons and Ed Donatel and obviously Vic Fangio, Clint Hurt. There's been a lot of, I'm missing a lot of them, but there's been a lot of high-level teachers I've been around. And I think that, part of teaching is knowing where your student is and then trying to elevate him. So you want to understand how they learn best. Are they a walkthrough guy? Well, then you need to go outside or stand them up in the meeting room. Do they like studying on their own? Do you need to give them more material so they can do stuff by themselves? Is it a Kahoot quiz that they can take in a limited amount of time, or do they need to feel a little pressure? Do they put them in front of a classroom so they feel that, from their teammates? It's different ways to do it and reach them, and you want to try to be as diverse with the teaching style as possible so it's hitting the brains of each student in the room.
Is there any specific player you think has a similar leadership style to you?
We'll wait to answer that. We haven't been in the fire yet.
Coach Candace Lamb, D210 Sports. Jayshon Barham, seeing him being on the inside and then flexing to the outside here at practice, how important and how is his processing speed as a rookie here at camp? I know he played a bit of both at college, mostly in the middle, but just being able to play here at that level, what has that been like?
Yeah, I think the point you made about him playing both is one of his cheat codes that he has. He's played equal amount of snaps almost at Maryland and Michigan, so he's been exposed to it. So it's not like he's seeing things that he hasn't seen before from that perspective, sideline-wise. I think that he is a fast processor, and again, he's one of those young guys who's very eager to learn. He wants to know the details. We try to keep it clean for those guys so the jobs aren't too different. It's just a different way of doing it, different alignment to do it. But he has the right mindset to attack that at multiple positions, and we've been real happy with his progress and his demeanor.
Is that what he said, Tommy Solo?
You have a rotation of pass rushers. What did you like about James Houston? Because he was the guy that was here last year. I got 5 sacks, whatever it was. What do you like about him?
Yeah, James has a lot of just natural pass rush ability. He's low cut. He's not, tall, but he has a long torso. He's low cut, so he can make those moves. He can get his foot in the ground and make counters very quickly. He's very aggressive to rush, and for his size, he does have a physical capacity to him. So we like his urgency. I think that's the one thing that we try to emphasize, that get off on the ball. Closing that space between you and the tackle or you and the guard, whoever's blocking you on that given play, is critical in terms of making them uncomfortable. And he already has that mindset. And I think the job that Chid and BT and Marcus and Brim are doing with those guys in terms of their mentality, in terms of rushing as a unit, is really important. So all those guys are kind of falling in line with that.
You talked about the communication and what it's like in the room, and it can get loud. Can you kind of take us a little bit? Is it you show a play and you want everybody, like you're showing emotion, you want everybody talking and things?
Yeah, if we're showing a play from practice, for example, if you're a linebacker on the field, you're making the front adjustment. If you're an outside linebacker and you see that the Y is off, you're saying something to your partner. If I'm a DB, I'm calling out the coverage communication. Motion happens. We're alerting this. We're passing off this. Once the play starts, what is that communication? We want the meeting room to sound the same as it does on the field. Your brain doesn't know when you're not taking a physical rep. It just knows that your brain is strained. So as many reps that we can get on task as that as possible, we want to try to take advantage of those in that space.
Yeah, Shotty's talked a couple of times about
Man, let me tell you something. Shotty ain't got to worry about this guy. Schottenheimer does not have to worry about this guy. This guy is different. He is exactly what you're looking for. He's hungry. He's hungry. And I like this. He don't want Shotty's job. He wants to be a head coach. He don't want Shotty's job. Some believe Matt Eberflus wanted Shotty's job. He don't want Shotty's job. When Jason Garrett was here, he wanted Wade Phillips' job. This guy's different. He's not here to get anybody's job. He's here to prove that he deserves a job. And that's why he is going to be so great for this team. Everything that he says, you don't have to watch over him. You want to watch him because you can learn some things. Shotty is going to learn some things from this young man. He's going to teach him a thing or two. And so, man, I'm loving it. This is why the players are gravitating towards this guy, because even though he's young, he's mature, he's like a mentor almost, teacher/mentor, somebody that you look up to for his wisdom. Because, I was teaching this yesterday, at Bible study, man. People have to understand something. Wisdom is not about age. Wisdom is about absorbing the teaching and applying it and being able to teach it. That's what wisdom is. And so Christian Parker is one of these guys that seems to be wise beyond his age. And so you can tell Parker isn't here to take, he's not interested in the job in Dallas. No, Parker is here to get a job in the NFL. He's here to help this team win the Super Bowl and to get a job in the NFL. And I like that about him. And Tommy Solo, you saying something, man, I hadn't even thought about this, but I could actually see this happening in the next 2 to 3 years. Tommy Solo said if McCarthy don't do it this year, I don't think it'll be 1 year. If McCarthy doesn't do it this year, the Steelers are going to take Christian Parker. I will not be surprised if that happens over the next 3 seasons. I wouldn't be surprised. JTX May said if Parker turns this defense around and we win, and he is, preferably a Super Bowl or NFC championship, he will gain a lot just because it's the Cowboys alone, let alone the last ranked defense last year. Oh, yeah, you can book it. Yeah, you can book it. JTX May, you can book it. This guy's going somewhere. He going places. And the reason why you know he's going to be good, one, let's give Jerry Jones credit and Stephen Jones. They're giving him the pieces that he needs. That in itself is major progress. They're giving him the pieces that he needs. They gave him the entire draft. They gave him a bunch of Clay. Then they gave him Kenny Clark. They gave him Quentin Williams. They brought in D. Winters. They had some leftover pieces. They gave him some Clay. They gave him some very good pieces. They gave him some great and elite pieces. Man, could you really ask for anything more? Being a brand new defense coordinator, and they put this kind of trust in you, and they give you these players. And I'm telling you the reason why they're giving him these players. Because Jerry Jones was convinced by Brian Schottenheimer and others. He's the accelerated plan. Yeah, he's the accelerated plan. He's going to get this defense to where we want it to be quicker than anybody else has. Yeah. JTX made. He said he hoped Jerry throw that bag at him like he did Dan Quinn, keep him a few more years. You know what, man? TX made. I don't know if he'll do what Quinn did, though. Because for Parker, and as young as he is, man, I wouldn't be surprised. He might either turn the money down that Jerry offered him to take that head coaching job. Or, man, team might throw him a bag. Jerry don't pay coaches $10 and $15 million. Jerry don't pay his coaches like that. So somebody might throw this guy like 5 digits. 10, 12, like they did Ben Johnson. Shoot, threw the farm at Ben Johnson on his first outing. And he's got some of them same kind of tendencies I'm noticing, like Ben Johnson. You could tell when Ben Johnson was with the Detroit Lions, cool, calm, collected, and driven. He was on a mission to help the Detroit Lions win a Super Bowl and then get a head coaching job. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to keep a guy like this if it pans out where he helps the Cowboys get to, as you said, an NFC Championship game. I believe he's going to do both. NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. I think they're going to do both. I do.
Your trash talk.
Yeah, never too old to learn.
I know Cobie Durant said you help give them the attitude on giving. You talk about why that's necessary, why you do that to the offense.
I think I'm just being myself, but we'll leave what's said on the field.
And one other thing, so much you talked about. Can you talk about your sisters and how they are extensive?
See, this is what I love about Cobie Durant. Cobie Durant ain't about all that nonsense. I mean, not Cobie Durant, I'm sorry. This is what I like about Christian Park. Y'all got to forgive me, it's late. You might hear me mislabel and misname a few people for the remainder of the night. But this is what I like about Christian Parker. No nonsense. He's not really a fan of hearing himself talk like some people are, in his profession. No. He's just about saying what needs to be said, and that is it. Now, Matt Eberflus was like this too, if y'all remember last year. Only thing about Matt Eberflus, while he was similar as in he was kind of like no nonsense in a lot of his conversation, the difference between, though, him and Eberflus to me didn't talk with a lot of confidence. He didn't talk with a lot of confidence. You could tell Eberflus was a teacher, but he wasn't necessarily a teacher that you liked, if that makes sense. You know, you think about when you're in school. There are teachers that you're like, yeah, you know, he knows his stuff or she knows her stuff. Yeah, you know, they can teach, whatever the case is, because, you know, you can tell they went to school and, you know, they can teach you the basic stuff. No doubt about it. And then you got these other teachers where you're like, wow, these people are great. I want to be taught by this person. They make me want to ask them more questions, and they can explain to me things, you know, in either few words, or they can explain it in a way where I can get it. And so this is the difference between him and Matt Eberflus. You can tell he's very confident. He has a lot of humility. You can be confident and have humility. And you've noticed he's already said a couple of things like, we'll see what it is on the field. We'll see what it is when we get inside of the fire. You know, we're gonna see what this all is as the rubber meets the road. And so Christian Parker, you can tell he has a plan. He knows exactly what he's going to do, what he wants to do. For him, it's just a matter of if his players, if they execute.
You brought B.T. Jordan in, you know, secondary coach, Ansley, all those guys. How are they extended to you, and what you like about that?
Man, it's been great. I think the process we were able to go through from square one in terms of hiring the staff was the right one. We were very thorough in the approach. Starting with Marcus Dixon, you know, I was with Marcus for 2 years in Denver. Obviously, he's a former player here, but Marcus is a guy that I've been in the trenches with. I've stood side by side with Marcus when I was the DB coach there as well. So, phenomenal teacher.
Marcus Dixon will be the next defense coordinator people will be seeking after in this league. Marcus Dixon is going to be one of those guys.
He has a great level of detail. He brings an energy and attitude to that D-line room, which is required, and he's doing a great job with that. Chidera Uzo-Deribe coming from the college ranks, but he's a guy his name has been floating around for a couple years as a guy who's highly respected, and all the Georgia guys I was with in my previous stop always spoke highly of him, you know, from Nolan Smith to N'Kobe Dean and all those guys. And Chid has done a really good job adjusting to the game. Some of the things they did schematically with Kirby down there is very similar to what we do. So, you know, he's been able to kind of make that leap pretty seamlessly. Scott Simons, you know, known him loosely for a couple years when he was the DC at Liberty and I was a GA at Texas A&M. And Scott's obviously a local product, but, you know, his level of detail, and also he has experience as a play caller. He's called plays for, I think, about 7 years between Liberty and SMU. So, you know, he's getting a different scope. You know, he can widen the scope, but he can also tighten it down, and he's able to contribute in that manner with those guys. And that's a room that we felt just getting more young development in there, and he's been very critical to that. Derek Ansley is a guy I've had a lot of respect for. You know, DA, when I was a young coach, when he was the DB coach at Alabama, you know, I'm trying to figure out, like, how he got there, like, what was his track record, you know, and being around him and getting to know him the last couple of years. We were in division in the AFC West before when he was with LA and I was with Denver. But he's done a great job just establishing the brand of football and planting the flag in that manner. You know, so he's done well. Ryan Smith, known Smitty since college. And he's always been somebody I've trusted at a very high level. We've always talked about working together. And I think that his exposure at the college game, from Penn State to Elon to JMU to then going to Arizona, Virginia Tech, Northwestern, he's been around a lot of different schemes similar to what we do in the 3-4 structure. So getting him with the safeties, he's a high-level communicator as well. We have a bunch of great communicators on the staff. And he's doing well in that capacity too. And then I think, you know, BT has had a lot of exposure the past couple of years just working with high-level rushers. and bringing his expertise to the table has been really good. And I think our young coaches too, and I say young, they're the same age as me, so I'm not trying to say that the wrong way, but from Rob Muschamp, he had experience with DA from Tennessee. He's been with the Chargers the past couple of years. He's worked in the front, he's worked in the secondary. He adds a lot of value to that room as well. JJ Clark was the one holdover from last year's staff. JJ's also been a previous coordinator when he was at UTEP. So JJ has another guy in the middle of the defense. You want guys who are tied into the run and the pass, who can widen that scope for the players and teach them the game in that manner, and he's been very valuable. And Dimitri Brim, we got Brim from UC.
Man, get this guy a hand, man. Give Christian Parker a hand. He's just making sure this man just went down the line of every last coach that he has, and talking about the importance of every last one of those coaches, of what they are bringing to the table. Christian Parker is one of these guys that you absolutely love because he's going to elevate everybody around him. And the way he's going to elevate everybody around him is by not just encouraging them, but making them understand that they're important in the success of this defense. That's all he's doing. He's just telling you, man, coaching matters. That's all he's telling you. Coaching matters. We got the right coaches. This is what they bring to the table. And I love another thing, if you pay attention to what he's doing, don't make this just about me. This is what you're seeing happening even on this defense. One of the things that Dan Quinn, and I don't know if he necessarily did it on purpose, but when Dan Quinn was here, see, Michael got put on a pedestal. Trayvon Diggs got put on a pedestal. And all of those, you start just highlighting players. But as you listen to Christian Parker kind of highlights everybody. Just kind of highlights everybody because he's wanting everybody to understand the importance. Because you even get people, and it's aggravating because they always gravitate towards this one player or this one thing. And the Christian is saying, nah, man, this is a whole unit. We got the right coaches. And this is what's going to contribute to the success of this defense and eventually this entire team.
CF. So actually he has a lot of experience with Malachi. We were able to get kind of an inside track on how Malachi was on the day-to-day, but Brim has been a guy who's been contributing at a high level as well with Marcus. He's his right-hand man. So, from top to bottom, we felt like, we knocked it out the park with a lot of these guys. There's a lot of first-round draft picks on the staff. And it's been really fun to work and collaborate with them. We try to have a collaborative approach with everything that we do. And the contributions from all of those guys in their different ways, from tackling circuits to takeaway circuits to, how we're, setting up different fronts and tying everything together. They've been a great addition, and they've been a great help to me, the first time doing this.
This is major what he's saying, man. You think about a young cat comes in, 34 years old. He becomes not just a defensive coordinator. Let's be clear. He's not just a defensive coordinator. He is the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Let that sink in. He is the defensive coordinator of America's team. Most valuable sports franchise in the world. He's the defense coordinator. And rather than coming in all arrogant and, and this, and this, nope. Comes in, starts doing his job, picks his coaches, and he's already telling us he's depending on his coaches. He's telling them that. I'm relying on these guys. And I'm allowing them to all bring what they bring to the table. All of them. I'm allowing them to bring whatever it is they bring so that it all goes into the melting pot of us winning. This dude is smart, man. He ain't putting all this stuff on himself. Shoot, I don't blame him. Nah, don't put all this on yourself, bro. Because this is exactly what people want to do. Nah, don't put it all on yourself.
Back to the news, I'm sure you had a vision and a plan for how you wanted to run a camp as a defensive coordinator, but 10 days in, maybe quick self-reflection on how it's matched those expectations or how it's gone.
Yeah, I think, you have a vision for it, and I think everything goes off the head coach, right? And I think Shadi and Tyler Bowles and Ryan Feeder in the way that we've been able to organize everything. I had all the schedules and everything in the spring, so I was able to spend some time this summer trying to organize everything and then make sure that we were 3-4 days ahead. How are we spending, the days like today when we're not on the grass as a staff and with the players? How are we spending the players' off days as a staff in terms of planning ahead and doing those things? So I think everything has gone, pretty according to plan once we kind of got those schedules and figured out how we can, divide the labor up as a staff and with our time meeting-wise and everything else on the grass. It's been pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. But see, his interviews, they're not going to be that long because, he just get direct to the point. He's not going to do a lot of yicky yakking and all that stuff. So, just direct answers. So Christian Parker, man, absolutely great choice by the Dallas Cowboys. And I believe he is absolutely going to pay dividends for the Dallas Cowboys. There's no doubt in my mind. All right, let's get on over here to Klayton Adams.
Yes! Here we go!
Klayton Adams is the next man to come up, man. Klayton Adams, to me, could play in a horror movie. Has a very intense look. And I'm glad he's wearing sunglasses today. I am. I'm so glad he's wearing sunglasses. I don't know if you've ever seen him without sunglasses, but man, he is very intense. I mean, the way he looks at you looks like he's, it looks like he's ready to like do something to you, man. It's like he's ready to do something to you.
How's everybody doing?
Very intense looking guy, but definitely another great addition to the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff. And I believe he's going to be a head coach in this league too. He's going to be a head coach in this league. You watch what I tell you. This is one of the reasons why I believe the Cowboys, as I've been saying, I was saying this before they hired these coaches. I was saying this. But I said it the moment they hired Brian Schottenheimer. They're going to win the Super Bowl either this year or next. They're getting a Super Bowl under Brian Schottenheimer. There is no doubt in my mind they're getting a Super Bowl. And I'm not just saying that to be saying it. I believe they're going to get it. And the reason why I believe they're going to get it is because we're literally looking at guys on his staff that you can already start mapping out. I believe Brian Schottenheimer has 2 head coaches on his staff and the next big-time defensive coordinator in this league. Marcus Dixon is going to be a defense coordinator in this league. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's next year people start coming to the Cowboys asking him to be their defense coordinator. Marcus Dixon is that good. Klayton Adams is going to be a head coach in the next 2 to 3 seasons. So is Christian Parker. He's going to be a head coach in the next 2 to 3 seasons. When you get those caliber of coaches on your staff, it's going to pay dividends because coaching matters. So without further ado, this is Klayton Adams. Really like this guy. Very intense.
Super. I'm doing great.
It's good.
Pretty good weather.
Beautiful.
Hey, Brandy.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You were calling the plays the other day in practice. What's your thoughts of getting used to doing that for obviously down the line when the opportunity presents itself to you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I really came away from it feeling good and just the way that I felt like I made progress. There were a lot of things that, just going into that situation, I haven't done that very much. So you're nervous about, I don't want to call this backwards, or I don't want to call the protection wrong, or, call something in the wrong area. And I felt really good. I felt like I was able to get into a flow. And, there's plenty of things that I want to do better, but felt like a really good step forward for me.
One of those things you want to do better.
I want to know where CD Lamb is lined up better than I did, because there's times where I'm, calling some stuff for him, and I'm like, where's he going? So yeah, I got to do a better job of kind of knowing where he's going to be based on. We're not in a game plan mode right now, and so that was something that I didn't think about when we went into it. Is I was just expecting him to be kind of at the point of attack on a lot of passes, and he went and lined up where he was supposed to.
Clarence Hill, Dallas Cowboys. Look at.
Now let's think back to something that Patrick Walker pointed out, and I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't say it, but since he mentioned it, I'm going to say it. Maybe this could be why the defense played as good as it did against the offense. Klayton Adams is kind of explaining, he's kind of getting his feet wet trying to call plays. He's not a play caller. This actually isn't what he's done since he's been doing what he's doing, like offensive line coach or whatever it is that he's doing. He didn't do it in Arizona, and he's not doing it here. Run game coordinator. That's not what he's doing. And so for him, he's kind of trying to get his feet wet being a play caller. Whereas Brian Schottenheimer, he would probably call things a lot more aggressive if he's going against Christian Parker. He would probably call him a lot more aggressive. So Shotty has went up against Christian Parker not once but twice. He went up against him last year in Philly, and both times we should have came away with victories. Dak Prescott was wheeling and dealing on the Philadelphia Eagles. And Brian Schottenheimer, second half of the Philadelphia game, really got into a groove. And I thought he called pretty good in the first game, too. He did call pretty good in the first game. And Christian Parker was over there in Philly. And Dak Prescott sliced up Christian Parker and Vic Fangio with great players. Dak Prescott sliced them up not once, but he sliced them up twice. And so Shotty probably would have looked different calling against Christian Parker and those rookies. But, allowing Klayton Adams to get his feet wet, calling plays. He'll probably do it some more during practice this year, this training camp. But I guarantee you, when we play the Rams, I could be shocked. But when we play the Rams, I think you're going to see none other than Brian Schottenheimer calling those plays. I think you'll see him calling those plays, especially going against the Rams, and just, Shotty is going to try to make his move this season into the top 10 coaches in this league and play callers. So, he's going to probably want to call that game against the Rams.
Dak's put a little pressure on you by calling offense GOTI. What does GOTI mean to you, greatest offense there is?
I think it's amazing because to me, it's just a standard that they've set for themselves. It's something that's very easy for me if we're not having a great walkthrough or we don't have a great practice to pull that out and say that, guys, that's not what that is. So I don't think it's as much of like, a numbers thing, or you're going to rank here, or you're going to do this, or you're going to do that, or you're going to be the greatest show on turf, or any of those other things. To me, it's just like, we want to be the best. You better freaking act like it every single second. And you better hold yourself to that standard. And we can't be going to a walkthrough with 1 foot out the door because it's an off day the next day, or we can't, like the foot needs to be on the floor of the car the entire time. And so I love it.
Last year,
now, I want you to think about something that he just said, because this is not how everybody else is going to look at this. I said this a few days ago. Dak Prescott wants all the smoke. Dak Prescott wants all the smoke. Dak Prescott feels like he's got one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best. He's got one of the best. If it's not top 3, it could be number 1 if they make a few tweaks in the red zone. He also feels like he's got a really good defense, even though he doesn't know what it's going to be. But he likes the coaches. He likes the coordinator. He likes some of the players. He likes some of there's so many things that they've done. Dak Prescott wants all the smoke. When you call yourself GOTI, Klayton Adams, love you, but you don't get to call yourself GOTI, greatest offense there is, and don't be the greatest offense there is. No, you don't get to do that. The expectations when you call yourself GOTI, you better, if last year you were number 3, This year, you better be number 2. And some people, I don't understand the mentality. Some people have been saying, if the defense is better, you may see a drop-off with the offense. How does that make logical sense? If your defense is better, you're going to get more stops. You get more stops, your offense gets the ball more times. Why would the expectation be, yeah, man, the offense may take a step back? If your defense is better, your offense better not take a step back. What? Your offense better not take a step back. You actually better take a step forward. Because if you can get this defense this offense from number 2 or number 3, from number 3 to number 2 or number 1, and this defense gets you to mid-pack, man, you're going to smash on everybody almost. You're going to smash on everybody. You cannot take a step back. This offense must score as many points as it did last year, if not more. I don't understand that mentality. When you call yourself the greatest offense there is, it better be the greatest offense there is. And that's not just execution. That's execution. That's you controlling penalties. That's you converting on third down, scoring in the red zone. You are literally the best offense. Numerically, coaching-wise, everything, you name it. You put I said it, Dak wants all the smoke this year, I'm telling y'all. And this is what happens when you get a defense, when you get a team around it. And I agree, it's a standard. Dak is setting a standard saying, hey, man, you guys, we are too talented not to do whatever it is we want to do to anybody. And we should not be letting teams like the Cardinals and the Bears and the Carolina Panthers and the whoever these other teams are that we shouldn't have let beat us last year. Man, when you call yourself GOTI, nah, you ain't getting that, bro. Don't come out and have a 150-yard game in total offense. Don't do it. They are going to bring that term GOTI up all year long, whether we're winning or losing. If we're winning and putting up big numbers, they're going to talk about it in a positive way. Dak Prescott named it GOTI, and they're living up to it. If you lose games, offense regresses, and you don't do the things you're supposed to do, they're going to tear you to pieces talking about Dak said they're GOTI, and they're not. You watch what I tell you. But again, hey, Dak painted that target. I'm for it. If Dak believes it, I'm rolling with it. Yeah, Brady said GOTI didn't paint a target on the back. No doubt about it. Shoot, no doubt about it. When you say you're the greatest offense there is, defenses get pumped up to play you. Ryan fan said nobody's talking about how Turpin is about to tear it up this season. Shoot, I hope he does. Last season, the opponent never punted, so Turpin's numbers should be doubled, if not tripled this year. Oh, you make a great point. You're right. You're right, Ryan fan. Turpin should be more of a factor. You're right. Who is this telling me? He said, did you see those cops texting, taking pictures? No, I didn't see that. All right, let's keep going with old Klayton. He looks like an X-Men, if you ask me. He could almost play Wolverine.
There were areas you need to improve on. Can you talk about what do you need to do better offensively than you did a year ago?
Well, I just think one of the things that you always have to figure out when you're going into another year is how do you evolve? And the answer to that, it comes to you. It's not like you can just dig it out of the dirt. And so some of that we just got to work on, and we got to keep finding it as we get holes poked in the things that we do and see how teams evolve on defense. I know that one of the things that I've challenged myself to is, like, how do we play winning football? And as I've gotten older and grown into, like, higher level leadership positions, to me, it's a little bit less about the numbers and how do you just put attack in the win column. And I think that we're set up to do that now with the way that we operate. Let's play winning football. Let's do the things that it takes to ensure that we win.
Klayton Adams with ESPN. Shotty yesterday said there's not going to be a rotation at left tackle, that Guyton has performed well. Obviously, availability has been an issue for him. To have yesterday happen where he's going to be the guy and then he has the elbow thing, is there anything that kind of says, okay, what, can he get past this at all?
Yeah, I mean, it sounded to me like I'm not a doctor, but it sounded to me like the elbow thing was just something that they wanted to look at. I don't think it was anything that was serious, but yeah, I mean, I think we want that for all the guys, is to stay out there and try to develop as good a continuity as we can, and we're evaluating and trying to make decisions day by day based on what we're seeing, and part of being a great competitor is being able to do it every day. And so if we're seeing good things, then we're going to keep the continuity in the group. If it feels like there's a dip or there's an issue with availability, then then we need to roll guys. And so the first casualty of war is the plan, right? And so we go into the camp saying this is what's going to happen, and things go a little bit differently and we have to pivot. I'm totally good with that. Sometimes you got to reserve the right to change your mind.
I like what he's saying there, because I want y'all to remember what I told you about Tyler Guyton. There are 3 things that I'm saying about Tyler Guyton: stay healthy, stay on the field, and dominate. And guess what he didn't do? Brian Schottenheimer, this guy's making a perfect point. Brian Schottenheimer comes into the press conference and calls off the quote-unquote left tackle competition that no one even asked him about. He volunteered the information. Yeah. Tyler Guyton's been told that he's competing for his job, only to come out. Y'all help me out. 3 practices. It took what? 3 practices. 3 practices for you to say, we're calling off the competition. It's Tyler Guyton's job. Do what? Only for him on the same day, he's out with a sore elbow. Again, if this was Ty Booker, wouldn't even think twice. Cooper BB, wouldn't even think twice. When you tell me it's Tyler Guyton, what else can we all say but, okay, here we go again? You don't practice because of a sore elbow? This is Tyler Guyton's biggest issue. Somebody put in the comments today, I was reading some of the stuff on one of the videos, and somebody put on the comments, they said Tyler Guyton, they call him Mr. Glass. Y'all remember that movie with Samuel L. Jackson and he was Mr. Glass? Yeah. Tyler Guyton might be Mr. Glass. And so Guyton's got to figure this out. Guyton and Demarion Overshown, they're in the same boat. They're battling themselves. That's all they're battling. They're not battling anybody else. They're battling themselves. And Guyton's biggest issue is he just won't stay on the field. He needs every single rep he can get. Every rep lost for Tyler Guyton is an opportunity to get better. He lost an opportunity to get better. Demarion Overshown, he's the Black Sean Lee. And I mean almost all the way around. Sean Lee would have been a Hall of Fame linebacker, I believe, had he stayed healthy. Couldn't stay healthy. Just nagging injuries all the time. This has been the issue with Demarion Overshown. What happened to him the other day? Talking about a sore leg. When I hear that talk about these particular players, it's worrisome. The Cowboys have a lot riding on Tyler Guyton. I don't think they're as worried about Demarion Overshown anymore. Man, you got Jayshawn Barham. I want to see what Jayshawn Barham looks like in the preseason. I want to see what he looks like against the Rams. I want to see what he looks like against the Saints. Because Barham, right now, I believe there are people who think, even in that building, that if something were to happen to Demarion Overshown, Jayshawn Barham could step right in and take his place. I believe there are people in that building who believe that right now. And I even believe there are some of us out here who are watching Jayshawn Barham. We got to pump the brakes a little bit. We got to see what he looks like, as we keep going. But just on early indicators, some of us are already saying, put him in. Put him in. Overshown and Guyton, man, this is serious to me. And especially when you're talking about Guyton. I mean, how long do you keep saying about Guyton? How long do you keep making up excuses? I want Guyton to succeed. But I got news for us. There's a whole lot of things that I wanted in life, and I haven't got them. I prayed for things I haven't gotten. I wanted things and haven't gotten them. And just because I say he's going to have a great season, don't mean he's going to have a great season. This team got a lot riding on Guyton. And for everybody who keep talking about go get Max Crosby and all these things, let me tell you something. If Guyton shows that Guyton can't stay on the field and Guyton can't do this, I'm sorry. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm going out there and get me a doggone left tackle somewhere. I'm going to get me a left tackle, or I'm going to move Ty Smith. I don't care who crying about it. I'll move Ty Smith over there. I'll put TJ Bassett guard. But I'm not going into a season. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm not going into a season without insurance for Tyler Guyton. I will not do it. If I'm the Cowboys, I will not do it. I will not. Based on especially what he shows me over the next 2 to 3 weeks, let him come in another practice talking about he got a finger problem, an elbow, a knee. I don't care. No, I'm bringing in somebody. I'm with you, Ronan the Voice. I'll bring Decker in. I'm bringing somebody in. I'm not going to put all my eggs in the basket of Tyler Guyton based on somebody's premonitions. I'm not going to do it. The proof is in the pudding. Man, I don't know I'm telling y'all, when I was coming up, man, I wish you would start talking about you got an elbow issue. Sit your butt on the bench. Tell you straight up. Sit your butt down. Man, people ain't got time for this stuff this season. They don't got time for this stuff. I'm the Cowboys. I'm going to get somebody. Absolutely going to get somebody. I am going to get somebody. Worley, what up, Worley? He said YCP hiding Caleb Downs playing in the slot in practice. He going to be all over the place. Tommy Solo said, I see a free agent coming in at left tackle. I'm telling you, man, if it was me, I would. I'm not putting all them eggs in that basket. And this is the Cowboys' problem. They want to put all the eggs in the basket of Guyton, thinking that's going to make Guyton be what they want him to be. No, it won't. It don't matter what anyone says. If Guyton ain't staying on the field, nothing matters. He missed valuable reps again. And I love what he said here. Klayton Adams said you got to reserve the right to change your mind. Yep. What did I tell y'all the 3 things that are when it comes to Guyton? Put this in your mind. Stay healthy, stay on the field, and dominate. He didn't stay healthy, he wasn't on the field, and he didn't dominate. It's enough said for me. Enough said. Yeah, they said he had a sore elbow. Yeah, sore elbow.
With Javonte, obviously had a great first year with him. Are there more things that you think, or you know what he likes now, whereas last year you kind of figured out as the year goes along? Is there more things you can do with him in the run game, or is he specific, like these runs he does well at?
Yeah, I think obviously the guy's pretty good on direct runs, and he's hard to get down behind the line of scrimmage, but I think that he is a more diverse runner than he probably gets credit for. I think the guy does a really nice job with some of the outside zone stuff, particularly the weak side. He's got really quick feet. He's able to get in and out of cuts really well, and he's one of those dudes that's not scared.
Yeah, Amber Soprano called him soft, yeah.
To run through the smoke, and that's what you're going to have to do on some of what some people would call mid-zone, which I don't believe in. I don't think it exists, but some people call it that. I think he's good at a lot of things.
Oh no. Klayton Adams. Can you tell us who you're talking to? Klayton Adams, who you talking about? Who you talking about these people? Who these people, Klayton Adams? What did I tell y'all about Javonte Williams? How do they run Javonte Williams? They run him through the tackles. That's it. That's all they do. There's no outside runs. There's no pitches. There's no sweeps. There's no screens. There's nothing. The only way Brian Schottenheimer ran Javonte Williams is straight ahead. Hold on a second. Klayton Adams, who you talking to? who you talking about? Who these people? Who these people? Who these people? Because the only people you can be talking about is Brian Schottenheimer. He's the only one. He's the only one running them like that. Now, let's look at another part of this. To say that Javonte Williams is better than people give him credit for, which I could agree with that. But is he better than Jaden Blue at doing those things? That's the question that needs to be asked. And that's the question that's going to, and I don't even think it has to be answered. If you gave me a choice of running on the edges, running on the outside, getting in space, you give me a choice between Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue. I'm going to tell you Jaden Blue 9.5 times out of 10. If you give me a choice of running between the tackles, I'm going to pick Javonte Williams 10 times out of 10. You just got to use them both for what they are. And that don't mean you might not run Javonte Williams between the tackles Jaden Blue between the tackles every now and then. But understand, if you run Jaden Blue between the tackles, you're going to have to open up that line a lot longer, a lot wider for Jaden Blue to run through. Because Jaden Blue, an arm tackle may get him. If I run Javonte Williams, I don't have to open it up as wide because he'll just bust right on through. Knock people down on the way, and he's a straight ahead runner. That's just what he's strong. That's one of his strengths. But if you're talking about on the outside, he's nowhere near as quick. He's not as quick, and he's not as fast as Jaden Blue. He's not as quick, and he's not as fast as Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is an absolute home run hitter. He's a home run hitter. Cowboys get him some space, he's a home run hitter. You're just going to have to take advantage of both of the guys. It's the only thing you have to do. Amber, you're right. He's kind of like DeMarco Murray in a sense, isn't he? DeMarco Murray, that's kind of what DeMarco Murray was. He's kind of like a straight-ahead runner. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you can knock people down in the process.
Yeah. John Machado with The Athletic. With Jaden Blue from last year to this year, where would you say you've seen the most growth from him?
So far it's been consistency, which is really what we were looking for last year, was to get a professional every day. And I think he's had some growth in those areas. I try to make sure that I talk to him every day and give him some feedback on what I think he's doing good and what he's not doing good, and try to make sure that, some of these guys are 22, 23, 24 years old. And so I just think having the ability, which not everybody does, to have like adults on your roster to say, you think Dak would do that? How do you think that he's carrying out his day? How do you think he prepared to show up today? Is a very positive thing for us. And so those are the things that we just got to continue to grow and look for. And so far, there's been a lot of growth.
Kind of the same question, but for Ryan Flournoy, going back to that Week 5 game where he kind of broke out, at least to us, against the Jets, and now where he's your guy's number 3, where have you seen him kind of grow the most?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that came into the NFL kind of as an adult, maturity-wise. Where he's grown is just instincts and understanding the game, and he's a fun player because he totally understands nuance. And so when you just start with a scheme, you have to make it as black and white as you possibly can so you can go hold the guys accountable. When guys get to the the point where Flo is at in his career, where it's kind of like he's developed consciousness, right? He understands, this is why we're putting that in. And so that's one of the best things he does is he gets it.
So wait a minute. Let's think about let's think about what just got explained. There's a reason why these two players are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Why would Jaden Blue not be kind of mature and up here as much as Ryan Flournoy is up here? See, Ryan Flournoy comes from a small school. Ryan Flournoy comes from a small school. Ryan Flournoy fought his way to the NFL. He fought his way to the NFL. He had to work hard, work with Chris Carter, work on getting faster. He had to work on being the best wide receiver he could be. He had to, as Rihanna say, work, 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 work. That's what he had to do. And people don't realize something about hard work. Hard work builds maturity. Having to get it the hard way builds maturity. Let's think about Jaden Blue. Absolute superstar. Jaden Blue, absolute superstar. He was the running back for the Texas Longhorns. Now, he wasn't the starting running back because Texas always have very good running backs. But the year before he got drafted, what did we see from Jaden Blue? Jaden Blue was a human highlight reel. Jaden Blue was a human highlight reel, and he did it on the biggest stage in the college playoffs. Absolutely balled out. When you are a running back and you come through Texas and all of the hype, all of the hoopla, all the TV, all the attention, your maturity level might not be there. Because you almost feel like, yeah, man, I'm him. I'm him. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys drafted me. I'm him. Anybody see what I did on TV last year? Anybody see what I did in the college playoffs last year? I'm Jaden Blue. You know how I know he was thinking like this? When you go get some Louis Vuitton cleats, bruh. When you go get some Louis Vuitton cleats, bro, you ain't even played your first game. Bro, can you play a few games before you whip out the Louis Vuitton cleats, bro? Can you win a few games, bro? Can you win some games? Can you run some touchdowns? Can you do some things before you go and get the Louis Vuitton cleats, bro? There's a reason why Ryan Flournoy and Jaden Blue are both on two opposite ends of the spectrum, because they came up two different ways. One of them came up in the biggest spotlight, and the other one had to work himself into the spotlight. That's why we are seeing Ryan Flournoy, who had to work harder to get there. It's just bottom line. It's just simple stuff. Of course, it's simple. Pretty simple. What's going on, Vinny Holtz? Virgil Brown, what's going on? It's really simple. But Shotty taught Jaden Blue a thing or two. Hey, bro, you're not getting on the field all this dumb stuff. All these Louis Vuitton cleats and, coming in here like we owe you something because we drafted you. People get drafted in the NFL all the time. Don't mean they make the team. Especially where Jaden Blue was drafted. It's not like he was drafted at the number 1, number 2, or the number 3 spot. And I'm pretty sure Jaden Blue, based on what he did at Texas, he probably thought he should have been drafted higher. Because if I was him, I would have thought the same thing. Shotty had to humble Jaden Blue. And I'm hoping that's what he did. He's worked on humbling Jaden Blue and keep him focused. And we're going to listen to Jaden Blue in just a moment.
Star Telegram, the luxury of having that interior trio of Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Booker. I feel like last year it was like, yeah, it's going to be great, but Booker's a rookie. Now he's stepping into year 2. Obviously, he has high expectations for himself. How have you guys been able to experiment just with the...
Right. Wait a minute, Ryan said he probably had a Gucci mouthpiece too. Ryan Xfan, he didn't get the debut to Gucci mouthpiece because he got the blisters on his feet and he couldn't play. So he could debut that Gucci mouthpiece, man.
More mature trio of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the continuity in there is really good. Those guys do a really good job of communicating. I'll tell you, it's been fun watching sparks fly with those guys in the interior that we have on defense, because those guys are big and thick and do a nice job over there too. So I think that the best thing for those guys is that some of the absolute best interior players that we're going to see all year are on our team, and we get to practice against them every day. And so, you know, there's times where we're able to say, like, hey, I told you, you can't do that against somebody who's an elite player, because they get to practice against them every day.
I think Quentin is the number 2 ranked defensive tackle. I'll show you that in a moment. And then I think Kenny Clark is number 19.
Pickens experimenting with moving him around. Where is that in the evolution of things for this offense?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a little bit more of like game plan type thing. And then every once in a while, we throw something in there and say, you know, how comfortable is he doing this? How comfortable is he doing that? You know, right now you sprinkle it in, and then you figure out whether it's something that you can do full time or not.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Last year you talked about the communication level with the offensive line, getting to a point where they don't have to actually verbally communicate and they just know. Where are you guys from an offensive line standpoint with that, and how do you go about kind of testing that and ascertaining whether that's where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, it is a hard thing to test, because you in a walkthrough you want to hear it when you're standing from behind, so it's not something that's going to get encouraged, but you can feel when they hit that level. It's usually, to me, it ends up happening in sidelines, on the sideline during games of, hey, I'm going to say this, you know, and you're not having to encourage them to do things. With young players, it's difficult. You know, I think when you get the older guys, obviously that's a little bit easier to do. With some of the things that we're doing to try to evolve, it hasn't really been a priority right now.
Yeah, that's what we needed too, Vinny Hope.
That was something that when I was a line coach, I used to like to do at evening walkthroughs. All right, we can't say anything here. I'm going to give you the play. Everybody's got to know what they're doing.
Brandy.
And then joint practices coming up with the Rams and the Saints. From just an offensive line standpoint and just where you want to do from a litmus standpoint, how big will that be?
No, I think it's going to be great. Anytime you get the opportunity to test your mettle against another team is a good opportunity. So obviously both of those teams have pretty good fronts that have a lot of high picks on them, and it'll be a great test for us.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. I think you mentioned earlier that Christian Parker, when he was going through the hiring process, you got to sit in those meetings and hear from him about, hey, this is some of the things I noticed about your offense last year. As you've had more of those conversations, how much has that helped you when you plan for the second year of this offense?
Yeah, it's great, because we have a year of this offense on tape now, and you know, we've got a bullseye on our back. Every time we take the field, people are going to want to measure themselves against us. And so it's not going to be the same old stuff. It wasn't the same old stuff when we got to the end of the year last year. You know, people did a good job of trying to poke holes in what we do. And that's, to me, is when you can really get to a very high level as a football team, is when you got the other side of the balls knocking the ball back across the net, and they're poking holes in what you do and forcing you to adjust, because we're going to see anything that we see at practice that's giving us problems. I promise you somebody else knows how to do it. And so being able to develop some of those answers right now is huge, and they've done a great job of that for us.
Iron sharpens iron. But, keep this in mind. Again, Dak Prescott sliced up Christian Parker last year, and Parker had a lot of talent. Now, let me say this. Dak Prescott was one of the very few quarterbacks that did it, because the Eagles' defense was that bleeping good. But Dak cracked the code on that joint. Shotty, and especially Dak Prescott, cracked the code on that joint. Tight window throws, I mean, all kinds of things. But they were one of the very few teams that did it. So, but the good thing is, Christian Parker going up against Brian Schottenheimer every single week. Christian Parker will continue to tweak his defense also, trying to figure out ways to stop quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, meaning the Joe Burrows, which we're not playing Joe Burrow this year, but in particular playing Matthew Stafford, playing Sam Darnold. You know, those are probably going to be two of the most ferocious quarterbacks to come to my mind. Lamar Jackson, that's going to be a whole nother other animal, because that's going to be about stopping the run. When you think about that quarterback, I'm not worried about Jackson Dart. Jaden Blue, Jaden Daniels, he can run the ball somewhat. That'll be another test for the Cowboys. But in the grand scheme of things, Christian Parker will also be able to tweak his defense to get better as we face some of those teams out there that could probably give us some trouble. Again, I think maybe the Jaguars come to mind. We're going to have to look at that in just a moment because, for as tough as people say the schedule is, I just kind of wonder about some of the quarterbacks that we're facing. Jordan Love, but Jordan Love stunk last year. I mean, he absolutely stunk. So I don't know. The Cowboys, the more he tweaked this defense, again, the better this team will be because, people said that this schedule is going to be tough. But I think when you start looking at them doggone quarterbacks that we're going to play against, might not be as tough as we think.
What do you make of your two quarterbacks that are duking it out for the backup job, in Joe and Sam?
Are Joe and Sam really duking it out for the backup quarterback position? We're going to see in the first two preseason games. I don't see much of a battle right now.
They're both doing an unbelievable job, and it really is a testament to how important competition is. And Joe's calling plays a lot cleaner than he has in the past. He understands pass protection a lot better than he has in the past. And being here a year, obviously, with the terminology has been really good for him. And then you look at Sam, who's a guy that I think he started 17 games in Washington at one point, and he's been around a lot of offenses. And one thing that you see with veterans that have been around the league is like they start speaking football, and they may not know exactly what you call everything, but they're like, oh, no, they call this, that. And they already kind of have an idea what it looks like. And it's been really great being in the room with those guys and also listening to them support each other and help each other.
Hey, Klayton, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. As far as your backup running back battle is concerned, a lot of justifiable talk about Jaden Blue. Looks like he is taking those steps. He's starting to stack really good days. But Phil Maffa is starting to surge a bit. Israel Abanikanda starting to kind of make some waves, and you know what you have in Malik Davis, aka the Holiday Killer, as Shadi calls him. How competitive can this backup running back competition be going forward, and how much fun is it for you as an offensive coordinator?
100%. I think you're exactly right. Everybody in that room has done a really, really good job. It has been a ton of fun to watch. And then to me, the question of how competitive can it be is, I don't know. Let's find out because all those guys are really doing a nice job. Izzy made a really nice run yesterday where we've been talking to him about just being efficient. Not just running at the line of scrimmage and bending and cutting, like how can I get in and out of a cut so that before it closes. We saw that from him yesterday. Malik just keeps doing stuff right. And, the guy that probably doesn't get as much credit as he deserves right now is I think Phil Moffa's had a really nice camp so far. And so, it's freaking battle it out. Not everybody's going to be on the team. So we already know the running backs. Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa. Those are the running backs. We got to find a way to figure out who's going to be able to separate themselves, and that room is extremely, extremely competitive.
The Cowboys have shown over and over and over what they feel about Malik Davis. I don't want to. Whatever it is about Malik Davis, and I think Malik Davis has done pretty good every time he's with the Cowboys. But I think the issue is with Malik Davis is they just feel like that he's hit the ceiling. It's like, because he doesn't do bad. It's just like the Cowboys just say, you don't do bad, you do good, but good is all you are. We want better than good. And then when Malik Davis hit the streets, nobody picks him up. I don't understand the thing with Malik Davis. Appreciate you, Vinny Holtz. Appreciate you. What up, Stephen White? So I really think the Cowboys running back room is pretty settled. I think it's Javonte Williams, of course, first. Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa in some combination. And then we'll see what happens with Malik Davis. Maybe if he don't get picked up, Malik Davis goes on the practice squad.
Next, Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio, 105.3 The Fan. Kind of along that line in the tight end room, Klayton would.
Yeah, Jaden Blue actually has fumbled in the pros. Jaden Blue fumbled against the Denver Broncos. Jaden Blue fumbled against the Denver Broncos and got taken out of the game.
Appear that the Fant injury is going to open up some snaps for the two rookies over the next 3 weeks. What have you seen from those two guys, and what do you need to see from each of them going forward?
I think they both have some real strengths. The last couple of days I felt like we've seen DJ. When we get in pads, all of a sudden you go, oh, that guy's physical. He's not afraid to step and strike somebody. Obviously with Trig, when he's in space, you see some things that not a whole bunch of dudes around the league can do. And so,
yes.
With the young guys, it is just constantly 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You think they got something, they don't. Then you got to kind of reteach it to them. This is the second time they're hearing the install. I'm a big proponent that the 4th time you hear an install is when you really figure it out. So I guess from my perspective, they would be halfway there. But, we get out of walkthroughs, and sometimes it's like, how could we possibly screw that up? And then you see them do something really good. So it's a little bit like hanging out with my kids.
Yeah, man. One thing I like about these coaches for the Dallas Cowboys, they're pretty much no nonsense, man. They don't really care a lot about a bunch of talking and stuff like that. They really don't. They're just doing this. Understand what I'm telling you guys. They're doing this because they have to do it. That's the only reason why they're doing it. Man, I heard a crazy story today. Let's kind of throw this in. I heard a crazy story today on 105.3 The Fan. Christian Parker. Let me see. Let me put a little marker on this so people can find it. Let me tell you the Christian Parker story. So, I don't know, maybe Christian Parker isn't used to being on a team like the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm kind of like, I don't really understand that, because when you think about, he came from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a pretty big market over there too. And I'm sure they put some of their, they let their media come in and, do some filming and stuff like that, and post plays online and whatever the case may be. I'm sure this is not something that is just, unique to the Cowboys, because I see other teams allowing their media to do it too. Well, rumor has it is Christian Parker didn't like all of the videos that he was seeing being posted online about the Dallas Cowboys. And he didn't want them to do any filming at Oxnard, California. I think it was Tuesday. Brandy, tell me if you heard anything about this. They didn't want, some kind of way Christian Parker kind of communicated that he didn't want the media. He didn't want the media being up close and sending out clips, putting them on X, and they're circulating all over the place. And so they were told that they couldn't video on Tuesday. And I don't know if y'all were remembering, I had said they had been told they couldn't video, and I didn't even know the Christian Parker story. I didn't even know the story. But they got started late because at first Nick Harris had posted online that they were told they could not shoot videos on the sideline. And somebody got word to Jerry Jones about this. And they said within 15 minutes, Jerry Jones sent word that the players, because what the media did, according to what I heard, the media said, well, if we can't shoot on the sideline, then the media went up in the stands. And that's why I think this all makes sense now. If you look at some of the clips from Tuesday, some of those clips are from the stands. They're from far away. Because I was wondering, why was some of the clips from the stands? But when Jerry Jones heard the story, Jerry Jones said, no, they can be on the sideline, because this is what we do over here in Dallas, at Oxnard, California, and they were allowed to come back down to the sideline. So Christian Parker didn't like the fact that the media was shooting. And I really don't understand what's the big deal about putting the clips online, because at the end of the day, in some form or fashion, I believe that teams do get access to certain things about you. They all give each other access. They all give each other access, so it's not a big deal. And even when you think about some of the clips that are being posted online, I mean, the from a distance clips, I think those are the ones that are more dangerous. I don't think you want them shooting clips from the stands, because the clips from the stands actually show the whole field. But if you letting them shoot the clips up close, what is that showing? It's barely showing anything. I mean, it really is. It's barely showing anything. So, man, it's crazy, man. Well, I was laughing when I heard that, boy. Jerry said, no. Jerry said, that's what we do. Okay, Brandy, you verified it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Brandy, she's out there at Oxnard. So, yeah, this is what I heard. I was laughing when I heard it. I said, nah, man. Jerry said, nah, bro. I love you, Christian Parker, but hey, man, this is what we've been doing for years, bro. And again, I think it's more dangerous to allow the media to go sit in the stands, because they're literally showing the whole field. Now, I don't know, I guess stranger things have happened. I'm trying to figure out the coach that's going to go and get the clips off of the Dallas Cowboy beat writers. I mean, they going to go pull up about 20 or 25 clips and say, okay, let's get these. So, I get what Christian Parker is saying. That's just not how he's wired. I'm sure that's not how he's wired. So I get it. He'll get used to Jerry. Yeah, he'll get used to Jerry. All right, let me slip a couple other things in here as on the tail end of Klayton Adams. Let's go back over here to Klayton Adams before we go to Dak Prescott. I also want to show you here the top 20 defensive tackles. I forgot to put that as one of the thingamajings here. But man, there's a couple things I forgot to put in here. Man, I forgot about this. These are the top defensive tackles in the league. Check it out. Best defensive lineman in the NFL. Kenny Clark is number 19. And if I'm not mistaken, let's go to the full list. I'm not going through all these. Quinnen Williams, number 1. Quinnen Williams, number 1. So they're basically telling us that we have 2 top 20 defensive tackles. This is Super Bowl stuff right here. It's Super Bowl stuff. This is how you win Super Bowls, man, defensive and offensive tackles. Our issue is now we got to see what our offensive tackle is. And I'm actually tripping that, people are not more concerned about our offensive tackles. I mean, I know we're wishing, but we got to really make sure the guy knows what he is. But Quinnen Williams, number 1 on the list. Pro Bowl caliber. Then let's go here. And then, of course, this is where you got Kenny Clark. Critical roster piece. I agree. Yeah, Kenny Clark. Absolutely. Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams. We're on to something. We just got to finish it. We just have to finish it. Bottom line. Yeah, we just have to finish it. But top 20 defensive tackles. Thought that was very interesting there. And you kind of heard that, that kind of conversation. All right. Yep, 2 top 20 defensive tackles. That's good for the Cowboys. All right. Let me see here. There's a couple other things I want to talk about before I get to Dak Prescott. We're about to roll right on to Dak Prescott, but there's quite a bit to unpack with Dak Prescott. Some things that have occurred today. Let me put this into the conversation before also we get to Dak Prescott. We're getting closer and closer to the top 100 players, I believe. And I am telling you, man, Dak Prescott must be way up there this year because we have gotten into the 30s. Let me see. I don't know if y'all saw this. We have gotten into the 30s, y'all. And look who number 36 is.
We out here in New York on some Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin. That's how I'm feeling today. We out here in New York on some Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin. That's how I'm feeling today.
Prescott loads up. Pickens, hand fighting into the end zone. Touchdown.
Macaulay Culkin. Y'all ever seen Home Alone? He got lost in New York.
I'm gonna try to go back and forth on this. They be kind of tripping when you play when you let the plays play. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. George Pickens, number 36.
Macaulay Culkin. If y'all ever seen Home Alone, he got lost in New York.
Yeah.
George Pickens, he can be the best receiver in the league.
Hey, straight facts, Kyle. Straight facts. You heard what he said? He can be the best receiver in the league. All right, you got an echo, Bass? All right, let me see. Trying to figure out why do I have an echo? Don't have anything playing over here. Don't have my iPad connected. Okay. All right, well, let me just show you here without the sound. But this is what we're working with here, man. GP. And again, man, GP top 100.
The catching over two guys on the E.
Yeah. George Pickens, number 35. I have to figure this out tomorrow on the echo. I don't want to mess with it tonight. I have no clue why. But George Pickens, he just said he could be the best receiver in the league. Yeah, George Pickens is different, man. I'm just telling us right now. This is no surprise to me. I just think he should be higher. I want to know who they have higher than him. Because I'm sorry, there are not many wide receivers in the game right now that are better than George Pickens. He's just a phenomenal player right now. And I think he's about to go on a phenomenal run. Absolutely all day long. I believe he's about to go on a phenomenal run.
If it's me.
There's no doubt in my mind. But that's kind of where we are with that. I want to make sure because I know Dak's going to mention some things about I know he's going to mention some things about that. But yeah, George Pickens, man, he's at number 36. So now this makes me wonder, where is Dak Prescott rated? Where is he rated? You're already up to number 36, and Dak Prescott hadn't come on the list yet. Very interested to see where he is. All right, as we get to Dak Prescott, let me kind of bring us back up to date on Dak Prescott is going to talk about this whole quarterback tier issue. And I've already brought this up. I brought this up the other day. Brandon Laurie posted this. But I'm telling y'all right now, Dak Prescott, hold on a second. Dak Prescott, before it's all said and done, Dak Prescott is going to absolutely own every single record for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's going to own every single record. Now through 140 games, Dak Prescott, AV, Dak 127, Troy 106, quarterback record. They're almost identical at this point. Completion percentage, Dak Prescott. Passing yards by a mile, Dak Prescott. Passing yard average, Dak Prescott. Passing yards per game, Dak Prescott. Touchdown passes, 243 to 141. 92 interceptions to 115. Dak has thrown more yards average, more yards per game And he's got more touchdowns, but this is insane when you think about it. He's got less interceptions, and his rate is 98.3. Wow. What in the world? You know what the difference is? Watch this, unspoken words. The difference isn't just championships. The difference are the teams they played on. That's the difference. Dak never played for Jimmy Johnson. Dak never had Norv Turner to come in and fix him. Dak never had Dave Onstad as his defense coordinator. Dak Prescott never had the combination of players that Troy Aikman had around him. Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Alvin Harbour, Doug Cosby, one of the greatest offensive lines to ever play the game. Number 1 overall defense in 1992. Top 5 defense in 1993. That could absolutely, it wasn't fool's gold. You couldn't run on it. You couldn't throw on it. 1992, 1993, that team was full of all pros, Pro Bowl players. You're talking Hall of Fame level team. The difference is not just the championships. It's the teams that they played on. And I'm talking from top to bottom. And not only that, it was a different era. Troy Aikman played in a non-salary cap era. Dak's playing in the salary cap era. Okay, yeah, Jay Novacek is the tight end I was thinking about. So when you think about the difference between them, the ability isn't the issue. The ability isn't the issue. The issue are the teams they played on. That's the issue. That's the difference between Dak Prescott and Troy Aikman. In 1995, I mean, man, there's so many players that you could name that Troy Aikman had on his team, that Dak Prescott has never had players on his team that compare to these players. Dak has never played with an edge rusher like Charles Haley. Michael Parsons ain't even any. Michael Parsons may have averaged more sacks than Haley. If you gave me a choice between Charles Haley and Michael Parsons, there's not one universe I would pick Michael Parsons prime over prime Charles Haley. Dak Prescott just never. Dak Prescott, and not just Dak Prescott, there are very few quarterbacks that have ever played with the kind of teams that Troy Aikman played with. That isn't saying that Troy Aikman wasn't good. But this is how you know Troy Aikman was on a better team. When your completion percentage is lower, when your yards are lower, your yards average lower, when your passing yards per game lower, when your passing touchdowns are lower, when your interception rate is higher. Norv Turner came in and had to fix Troy Aikman. He was a turnover machine. When your rate is lower, all this is telling you is something simple. Let us count the ways. The running game for Troy Aikman. There's a reason why Emmitt Smith is the best running back ever to play the game. He's not the best runner, because somebody may argue he's not the best runner. No, Emmitt was not the best runner. Emmitt, though, is the best running back that ever played the game. Combination-wise. When you're talking about running, catching out of the backfield, blocking, mentality, ability to play with players around him, Emmitt Smith is the best running back to ever play the game. The Dallas Cowboys were predicated on their run game. They were not predicated on Troy Aikman. And that's why Troy Aikman can win 3 championships and have a lower completion percentage, lower passing yards, lower passing average, and less touchdowns. Go back and look at the touchdowns that Emmitt Smith got. Go back and look at a lot of things they did differently than what they do with Dak Prescott. And again, I think the biggest difference between Troy Aikman and Dak Prescott, though, is the coaching. Jimmy Johnson, when Jimmy Johnson came in, Troy Aikman was a turnover machine. They went and got Norv Turner to fix Troy Aikman, and he fixed Troy Aikman. And the way that he fixed Troy Aikman is he stopped him from throwing the ball as much. And a lot of people don't realize that. He stopped them from throwing the ball as much. Dak Prescott puts it up at a very high rate because in the Dak Prescott era, Jerry has always said, we go as far as Dak Prescott take us. But in the Jimmy Johnson era, he never said that about Troy Aikman. As a matter of fact, the year before they went to the Super Bowl in 1992, Jimmy was ready to move on from Troy Aikman and go right on with Steve Berline. Wasn't even going to blink. We saw this in the Netflix special. Steve Berline talked about it and Jimmy Johnson talked about it. It was Jerry Jones who stepped in and said, Troy's my quarterback. He's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry liked him, loved him some Troy. But nevertheless, what you are looking at between Troy Aikman and Dak Prescott, you're looking at a quarterback that played on a better team. Bottom line, that's all you're looking at. And we're hoping that now Dak Prescott is getting on a team that is as good as the teams that Troy Aikman played on. It's going to be hard to do, though, because, again, Troy Aikman played in the non-salary cap era. I mean, the 49ers and the Cowboys were just basically buying up the best talent you could buy. It was hard to beat those teams. Not only did they have the best talent, shoot, they had the best coaches, man. Dude, they had the best coaches. Steve Walsh. What was his name? It was Walsh. Then they, I forgot the coaches that they had, but they had two great coaches. Two great coaches. I mean, they basically had it all. So what you're looking at is two quarterbacks, two different eras of one in the salary cap era, one in the non-salary cap era, having Jimmy Johnson. I mean, everything was so different back then. Players Association. I mean, the CBA. I mean, you could tackle more. You could have more padded practices is what I mean. You could have more padded practices. Jimmy drove his teams during those years. It's a whole different era. But we're hoping that now Dak Prescott is finally getting the team that he needs so that he can accomplish some of the same things that Troy Aikman accomplished. Now 3-4, that's tough in these days and times. That's tough in these days and times, the no salary cap era. That's just a hard thing to do. But it can be done. I mean, Bill Belichick, you think about the Kansas City Chiefs, it can be done. But boy, it's a tough thing to do. All right. So now I want to take you over here because I wanted to get that in. Because now we're going to listen to Dak Prescott on CBS. Dak Prescott gave an interview to CBS. And Dak is going to address something that we talked about on Tuesday. It was this. Let me bring this up in case you didn't see this. The quarterback tiers. In case you didn't see this. They came up with a quarterback tier. And Dak Prescott made the second tier, hit number 7. And there's no way Justin Herbert, if man, should ever be before Dak Prescott. I would still put Dak Prescott over Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has went to one Super Bowl. What in the world has Joe Burrow done lately? Joe Burrow has been hurt for the last 4 seasons. He had a good season, I think it was, last year? But Joe Burrow stays hurt. There's no way I'll put Joe Burrow before Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott should be for me, Dak Prescott should be at number 4. But they got him at number 7. Some people were not mad at it. I'm not even caring about these lists anymore. Now, I told y'all yesterday, I haven't heard this interview with Dak Prescott yet. But I'm telling you, Dak Prescott doesn't care about these quarterback tiers. I got a strange feeling they're going to bring up these quarterback tiers to Dak Prescott, And I told y'all on Tuesday, and I believe Dak Prescott is going to validate what I said. I guarantee you Dak Prescott cares nothing about MVPs. He cares nothing about these quarterback tiers. He cares nothing about Pro Bowls any longer. The only thing Dak Prescott is interested in is the Super Bowl. I haven't watched this interview. I got a strange feeling. I got a strange feeling. Dak Prescott is about to say the very same thing.
Yes! Here we go!
This is Dak Prescott.
Heck, I got to show you this. This is what I looked like the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
It's what 30 years of dealing with guys like you.
Hair is a little different.
He said this is what he looked like last time. Wait, let's roll this back.
Heck, I got to show you this. This is what I looked like the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
That's what 30 years.
Boy, look at them. Boy, look at them. Boy, look at those hair, those outfits, bro. Boy, it's been a long time. Amber, yeah, he want that bow on the top, Amber. Yeah, he want that bow. It's time to get that Super Bowl.
Years of dealing with guys like you.
Hair is a little different. It's still up there.
Yeah, a little whiter and a little less of it.
Vinny Holtz, I think Dak Prescott has he's 33. I think he has 7 years as long as he stay healthy. Dak is taking care of his body, Vinny. I think Dak can play until he's 40. I really do.
You're well aware of the drought. You came in kind of guns blazing, not shying away from the Super Bowl talk. Could your career truly be complete if you don't win a Super Bowl in your mind, or do you put that much pressure on yourself to get to that big game?
Yeah, I mean, I put that pressure on myself. It's the standard that I have of playing this game, of believing what a quarterback means or what a quarterback should do. Growing up a big fan of the NFL and just football in general. This game has given me so much, and winning is the best part of this game. And so making relationships and all that are great, but when you can make those relationships and win, what it does for those relationships are beyond fathomable. So I do think it's that's needed.
We were talking a little bit about this, how in today's age of social.
Yeah, now the reason why I showed you the stats that I just showed you, Dak has to get a Super Bowl. By the time Dak Prescott is done, Dak Prescott is going to own every record with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think there is going to be a record as a quarterback that Dak Prescott is not going to be number one at with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott statistically has not only put himself, Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, two greatest quarterbacks to ever play for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott has already surpassed Tony Romo. Dak Prescott has actually Hall of Fame numbers. Literally, Dak Prescott has Hall of Fame numbers. And he'll probably make the Hall of Fame even if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, I believe. I think he'll make it. It just won't be 4th, 5th, 6th ballot, but it'll be back there. I wouldn't be surprised he still makes it. But the issue is, similar to Drew Brees, because of what Dak has been through, especially with Jerry Jones in this era of Dak Prescott and the stubbornness of Jerry Jones, and how Jerry now at the end of this man's career is now deciding that he wants to win a Super Bowl and putting players around him, putting coaches around him. Dak Prescott needs that crescendo. He's got to have that Super Bowl. Dak gets that Super Bowl. He goes down as either the third or the second greatest quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And I'll be honest with you, Troy Aikman, 3 Super Bowls, Jimmy Johnson is coach, non-salary cap era, Herschel Walker trade, all the players that were around Herschel Walker. I'm telling you now, if Dak Prescott wins one in the salary cap era, it's more impressive than the 3 Troy Aikman won. I said it. It's more impressive. Shotty is shaping up to be a good coach. He ain't Jimmy. He could be better than Jimmy, but he ain't there yet. When you think about all the players that played around Troy Aikman, as much as these players around Dak Prescott, I think they're really good right now. If I go position by position, none of these players, and don't let me say none, 90% of these players are still not as good as the players that were around Troy Aikman. Still right now, they're not as good as the players that were around Troy Aikman. It's Cowboys After Dark. Let me show you what I'm talking about. They are still not as good as the players. I can pretty much remember the players. All violence. One would be more impressive than 3. And let me show you why. One would be more impressive than 3. And the reason why I'm saying that is this. Let me show you. I want to go apples to apples on this. I'm going to take us all the way down. We're going to take Troy Aikman out of the equation. Take him out of the equation because we got Troy versus Dak Prescott. We've already seen the numbers. Dak Prescott's numbers are better than Troy Aikman's. And when we talk about leadership, Troy Aikman was a great leader. Dak Prescott is a great leader. I think they may be equally as great. But let's look at the teams. Let's look at the roster real quick. Let's look at the roster. Who you got? Jimmy Johnson or Brian Schottenheimer? Who you got? Who you got? Who you taking? Jimmy Johnson or Brian Schottenheimer? Who you taking? Offense coordinator. You're taking Brian Schottenheimer or Norv Turner? Who you taking? Norv Turner or Brian Schottenheimer? Defense coordinator. Who you taking? Christian Parker, Dave Onstad. Who you taking? For as much as I love Christian Parker, I got to see more. Because I'm telling you right now, man, Dave Onstad was him when he came to the Dallas Cowboys. Dave Onstad as a defense coordinator, him. Norv Turner as an offense coordinator, absolutely him. Shotty isn't quite where Norv was. And I'm not even going to say quite. He got a long way to go. He's been an offense coordinator for a long time. But Norv in his prime versus Shotty, you're not beating Norv Turner, man. You're not beating Norv Turner. Let's go down the line. We're going to omit Troy Aikman versus Dak because we already seen that Dak has the better numbers. But, okay, who y'all got? Emmitt Smith or Javonte Williams? Who you got? Who you got? I'll even throw in, who you taking? Emmitt, DeMarco Murray, Javonte Williams, or Ezekiel Elliott? I'm still taking Emmitt Smith over all of them. Dak Prescott hasn't played with a running back that is as good as Emmitt Smith. Fullback. We've kind of omitted that. We play 11 personnel, But even if you just want to throw in for giggles, are you going to take Daryl Johnston or are you going to take Hunter Lipke? All I'm doing is I'm just proving a point. There's only very few positions that I'm going to take the current players or a current player over one of these players of the past. This is a no-brainer for me. Alvin Harper or George Pickens. I'll take George Pickens every single day over Alvin Harper. Alvin Harper was great. He wasn't George Pickens. Yeah, Alvin Harper wasn't George Pickens. But when it comes to Michael Irvin and CeeDee Lamb, I love you, CeeDee Lamb. I would never take CeeDee Lamb over Michael Irvin. Never. Never, never, ever, never. I would never take him over Michael Irvin. You look at tight end wise. What tight end has the Cowboys I wouldn't take, there's no way I would take Jake Ferguson over Jay Novacek. There's no way I would take him over Novacek. Dak Prescott hasn't played with a tight end that I would take over Novacek. Left tackle. What left tackle has Dak Prescott played with that's better than Mark Tuanay? What left guard has he played with better than Nate Newton? Travis Frederick, as good as he was he better than Stepnoski? Right guard, you got John Gisick. And let me tell you something. Right tackle? Nah, bruh. Nah. Right tackle, Eric Williams. Dak Prescott has not played. You can tell me about Travis Frederick. You can tell me about the entire line that Dak Prescott has played with. That line that Dak Prescott has played with was never as impressive as this. Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Tyler Smith, they were great. That combination was not better than Tuanay, Newton, Stepnoski, Gisick, and Eric Williams. All I'm telling us is when you go pound for pound and you look at the personnel that Troy Aikman played with versus the personnel that Dak Prescott has played with, it's not even close. It's not close. Tony Tolbert, you got your left defensive end, Tony Tolbert. Your defensive tackle was Tony Casillas. Russell Maryland was your right defensive tackle. Your right defensive end was Charles Haley. Now, I like Quinnen Williams. Man. Kenny Clark and Kenny Clark and Quinnen are good. But better than Tony Casillas, Russell Maryland, them boys were nasty. Linebacker core. Vincent Smith, Robert Jones, Ken Norton. He hasn't played with a linebacker core that's as good as this. Cornerback. Isaac Hope, Larry Brown, Thomas Everett, James Washington. When you look at the teams that Troy Aikman played with, this was the 1992 team. Do y'all realize the 1993 team was better than the 1992 team? They went and improved the team in 1993. They were even better in 1993. You look at the linebackers, Dixon Edwards, Ken Norton, Darren Smith, cornerbacks, Kevin Smith, Larry Brown. They had Darren Woodson, free safety, Thomas Everett. Dak's never played with a roster. And then we go to the next Super Bowl team. Unfortunately, this one was coached by Barry Switzer. Let me tell you right now, the moment you added Deion Sanders to this team, it was over. The moment you added Deion Sanders to this team, there is no team that Dak Prescott has ever played with that was as good as the 92, 93, I would even dare say 94 and 95 Cowboys. What you are looking at when you look at that list, and as they were talking about Super Bowl, what you are looking at two quarterbacks who are great. Dak Prescott and Troy Aikman are both great. But you're looking at quarterbacks who played in two different eras. The league was tougher back then, but it was a non-salary cap era. Jerry was in win now mode, had Jimmy Johnson just doing everything that he could to win him a Super Bowl. The Herschel Walker trade, Michael Parsons trade was good, but it's not the Herschel Walker trade. So when you think about the team that Troy Aikman has played on, Dak's never played on that team. So we're just now getting Dak Prescott in year number 11. The Dak Prescott is finally coming to a point to where we can say, wow, Jerry's putting a pretty good team around Dak Prescott. Yeah, Jerry's doing it. He's putting a really good team around Dak Prescott. He's not done, though. He's not done. And the reason why I say he's not done, when I look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did, when I look at what the Kansas City Chiefs have done in the past, when I look at what even the Seattle Seahawks did, Vinny, I got something for you. I'm about to show you something on the Seahawks that is absolutely mind-blowing, and I got to show it to us, something that happened on Hard Knocks. But they're finally starting to do this for Dak Prescott. We're going to see what the results are here over the next 2 to 3 years. And I believe they're going to get that Super Bowl either this year or next. Might even squeeze out 2 if you count in 2028 season. Let's see.
Social media, how, you just block it out and don't pay attention to it. This is just my opinion, but I think you and LeBron are the two most highly scrutinized pro athletes that we have. I do. You take a lot, block it out. There was an anonymous DC who says when it comes to the postseason, you blank the bet. I know you don't care about the outside noise. So for your motivation, what is your biggest sense of motivation right now? Where does that stem from?
Yeah, I put it on myself. As I just said, it's the love and the passion that I have for this game and wanting to win. And it's, being a father now,
You can forget about Dak Prescott blaming anybody. We all know they have not had the teams around Dak Prescott. But the one thing you're not going to hear Dak Prescott complain. Dak Prescott is going to continue to put it all on himself.
I want my girls to say my dad's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and I'm going to give this game everything that I have, and so.
Whoa! That's the first time I heard that. Whoa! 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 Wait a minute. Dak Prescott said he wants his daughters to call their dad a Super Bowl winning coach. Wow. Now, if that don't bring a tear to your eye, let's go back and hear this again. I'm going to let my wife hear this tomorrow. She's going to cry. Watch what I tell you. Let's go back and play this again.
About the outside noise. So for your motivation, what is your biggest sense of motivation right now? Where does that stem from?
Yeah, I put it on myself. As I just said, it's the love and the passion that I have for this game and wanting to win. And it's, being a father now, I want my girls to say my dad's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And, I'm going to give this game everything that I have. And so, as we were talking about it earlier, it's just about running a race.
That's great motivation, man.
And I'm going to just stay persistent, resilient. I know what I can do. I feel like I'm playing the best ball moving forward. And so, it's what I believe is needed, as I was saying, and I truly think that this team and this organization are aligned and headed in that direction. And so why not everybody take accountability in it and what we want to do, have the same goals, and go for it.
See, this is the key, and this is one of the things that Dak has missed too. Alignment. A lot of people don't realize, man, when you think about when Jerry bought the team, Jerry had to win. If Jerry doesn't win Super Bowls, Jerry doesn't get the influence in this league that he has. He doesn't get it. Jerry was in win now mode. Jerry knew it was imperative for him to win a Super Bowl, for him to get the endorsements, for him to get the TV deals, for him to get the exclusive endorsement deals that the Cowboys don't have to share with the league. In order for Jerry to even help change some of the rules of the league and to get those owners to listen to him, Jerry had to win. And people don't understand how important that is. In the plan of Jerry Jones, he had to win. Jerry was willing to do anything and everything to win. And he could do that in a non-salary cap era, where Jerry has struggled as being one of the people that helped implement the salary cap. Jerry has been one of the worst ones at navigating it. He's been one of the worst ones at navigating it. And so now we're just now seeing Jerry starting to try to do more and more to manipulate that salary cap. He's going to have to do a whole lot of that to get Quentin Williams, keep George Pickens, and some other things he's going to have to do after this season.
We all are, competitors with the other people in our industry, obviously. I think I'm better than these other guys at doing this job. I'm not better than Sam, but I'm better than they are. When you see The Athletic rank you as a tier 2 quarterback behind the likes of a Justin Herbert, I'm sure that makes your blood boil a little bit, whether you would admit it or not. My question to you is, do you think you're the best quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I give credit to where credit's due, and there's a lot of great players in this league, but you just said it, and you said it best when comparing yourself amongst your peers. If you don't think that you're the best or you can do anything that what somebody else does, I don't know if this game is for you. Now, can I run like Lamar? Absolutely not. Can Pat extend plays and Josh Allen extend plays, with the best of them? Absolutely. So I do kind of think there's a tier to it because we all do the jobs different and we all can get the job done differently. But truthfully, I couldn't tell you about a tier. I couldn't give a damn of what tiers people put it in.
What did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all 2 days ago? Y'all gonna call me a prophet before it's over. What did I tell y'all 2 days ago? I knew this would be Dak Prescott's answer. Dak Prescott don't give a blip about quarterback tiers, where he's ranked, what people think about him. He just said, I believe I'm the best quarterback in the league, and Dak is just saying something. Why shouldn't he think that? Why shouldn't he? If you don't think you're the best in the league, I'm like Dak Prescott, you don't need to be in the league, bro. You don't need to be in the league. You don't. And so Dak Prescott, he said he's the best in the league, but again, he does something very clever. He's not saying it in a manner of being arrogant. He just says everybody should think that. And he's just saying that he does something different. They all do something different. They all bring something different to the game. I get you, Dak Prescott. Makes perfect sense. And now he goes back to the very thing that I said he would say 2 days ago, and it's strange that now this interview is coming out. Did I not tell you that if you asked Dak Prescott what he thought about those tiers, what did I tell you he would say? He cares nothing about him. This is exactly what he's saying.
When I do see those things or those things come up or ask that question, I wonder who had the credentials to create those tiers. Because at the end of the day, said it's about doing a job, and I think I can get my job done as good as anybody in this league.
Yeah, your opinion is the one that matters.
That's it. And that's why I keep saying about Troy Aikman. We never asked Troy Aikman to do what we're asking Dak Prescott to do. We're asking Dak Prescott, or this is what they were asking Dak Prescott. They were asking Dak Prescott because he was making $60 million a year to make up for the shortcomings of the football team, play outside of yourself, and raise the level of the entire team. Go back and look at every Super Bowl team, and no Super Bowl team ever asked their quarterback to do that. Go back and look at the Super Bowl winners. They don't do that. The Seattle Seahawks didn't ask Sam Darnold to elevate the team, play outside of himself. No, in actuality, he said, hey, play inside of yourself. Don't turn the ball over. Gotcha, Captain. No turnovers. You can go down the line. Jalen Hurts didn't have a great Super Bowl the year he wins the MVP. He just went in there and he just went in there and did his job. Jalen didn't really do anything spectacular in that Super Bowl. He was better in the 2022 Super Bowl. Guess what? They lost. Go look at a lot of these quarterbacks. A lot of them aren't having out of this world performances in Super Bowls because they don't have to. They have great teams. They just have to do their job. That's all they have to do. And even if they commit turnovers in Super Bowls, because a lot of them have committed turnovers, but their defenses are so good. They're good for 2 turnovers. They can commit 2 turnovers and still win games because they are only asked to do their job. That is not what we've been asking Dak Prescott to do. We've been asking Dak Prescott to lift up the whole team around you. And even if you don't have linebackers on defense, even if you can't stop the run, Dak Prescott, if they score 35, we need you to score 40. That's what we've said for the most part since Dak Prescott's been here.
There's most, and you feel, all things considered, you're the best quarterback in the league.
I absolutely feel the right time, the right thing, that I am the best. As I said, I'm giving credit to, Mahomes, to Josh Allen, to Lamar Jackson. I mean, two guys that just went and won the Super Bowl, or went to the Super Bowl. They're winners. You can't take away anything from what others done. But yeah, if I don't think that I'm the best, you'll see me retire.
Dak, 11th year in the league. I would think you have to enjoy the process, right? Because if you try to jump to the end, it's too much can go on in your mind. What do you enjoy more about the process now, maybe that you're a little bit older than you did when you were a rookie? And what's one aspect of the process that maybe you don't enjoy quite as much now that you're older?
Yeah, no offense to you guys, but I don't enjoy being asked, these questions about my process and, about what I believe in my process. Because I think that's the only reason that I'm here, is because of my beliefs, is because of my faith, and because of the way that I pour into other people. And I enjoy that. That's probably just the process of creating relationships and building relationships that are going to last well longer than this game lasts.
I tell you what, Vinny, he on his way.
And, creating brothers and being there for somebody when they're going through a hard time or adversity or something that I've went through, that I know that I've got something under my belt, unfortunately, that can help somebody, get through their adversity better, or to see the different perspective of what they're going through. So it's all beauty, the ups and the downs of it. And so I wouldn't change it for anything.
You don't enjoy this, but I'll say it as somebody who's been covering Cowboys quarterbacks for 30 years. You do a pretty good job of dealing with us. I'll cut that part out. It sounds like kissing your ass there. But I will close with this, and it's another question about process. But to quote you at your news conference the other day, you grow, you mature, you go through things. This is you talking. I live in the moment, whether it's football or life. So I guess I would ask what you have learned about yourself through the adversity you faced, maybe specifically over the last year or so.
Yeah, just you have to enjoy the process of each day. You've got to communicate the process and the feelings of each day. You can't force things, and you can't, as I said, control everything. It's more about managing, and it's more about life goes both ways in a lot of different things, and you play a certain part in it. And so it's a perspective thing, and just being able to communicate, being able to make sure the goal is set, the goal is clear, and make sure that you do everything that you can to make that be known.
It had to mean the world to be out there with your daughter yesterday, right?
It did. It's amazing. Any chance, any opportunity, minutes I get with them, it makes the days better.
Yeah. Tough. It's tough, but Dak Prescott, the quarterback tears, again, I knew that's what Dak Prescott was going to say. You get to the point to where Dak Prescott is, you really start realizing some things, especially when you watch Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl, you watch Drake May go to a Super Bowl. It makes you start realizing something being Dak Prescott. that while it's great to think you're the best, and it's, it's cool if you are the best, but at the end of the day, the best quarterbacks aren't winning Super Bowls. The best teams are winning Super Bowls. Bottom line, the best teams are winning Super Bowls. And I'll be honest with you, I would much rather be on the best team winning Super Bowls than being Dan Marino and being the best quarterback in the league, leading in all kinds of stats year after year after year, and never winning a Super Bowl. I want Super Bowls if I'm a quarterback. I want Super Bowls. This is the very reason why a lot of people there were people who were disputing Troy Aikman with 3 Super Bowls. They were disputing Troy Aikman, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know why they were disputing it? The numbers. See, the Hall of Fame isn't just about Super Bowls. The Hall of Fame is about numbers and Super Bowls. And while Troy Aikman had the Super Bowls, when you go back and look at Troy Aikman's numbers, you're just kind of like, eh. And the reason being is that Troy Aikman's career is really defined in 6 seasons. Because if you look at the first 2 to 3 seasons of Troy Aikman and the last 2 or 3 seasons of Troy Aikman, it was a whole different quarterback than he was from 1992 to 1997. You're talking 2 different quarterbacks. 2 different quarterbacks. And so I wouldn't care for me. It's just not that big of an issue for me. I don't want to be known as the best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. I wouldn't want to be that quarterback. I want Super Bowls because at the end of the day, Dak Prescott knows it, and Dak Prescott has already said it. At the end of the day, that's what they judge you on. And there is nothing like, I promise you, there would be nothing like you're the first quarterback in 31 years since Troy Aikman to win a Super Bowl. Oh, man, you never have to pay for nothing again in Dallas. I promise you. Dak Prescott would never have to pay for anything again in Dallas. Dak Prescott would be that revered. I want to show you something that I found yesterday. And when you listen to this, you're going to understand why the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. You're about to understand why the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. It's Cowboys After Dark, so I'm going to insert this in. How many times have I talked to y'all about in order for a dominant player to dominate, you need a dominant team? How many times have y'all heard me say how dominant Michael Jordan was, but he didn't start dominating winning championships until he got a team? Phil Jackson, Scottie Pippen. You don't want to operate in a mode of a part is better than the whole. You actually want the whole thing to operate and function fully, efficiently, so that it does exactly what you want it to do. This is something that Mike McDaniel and these guys were talking about with the Seattle Seahawks. And when I heard this, I knew this is why this team won the Super Bowl. Check this out right here.
Good coach. He's got a sweet stash. Phil Jackson, he took over after. Okay, so this guy right here, he's a pretty good coach. He's got a sweet stash. Phil Jackson, he took over after like MJ had already been there for several years, like kicking ass. He was scoring like 35 a game was his like career average up to that point. Had the Bulls won anything in '91 yet? Nope. No, they couldn't get over. They couldn't kind of get over the Pistons. They couldn't get over the hump. Phil Jackson shows up. I'm trying to get these guys to be convinced. Maybe we shouldn't just give the ball to one guy. Maybe we're trying to actually create this like flow state of basketball where everyone is kind of involved all the time. So what happens? 91, they win the championship. They start to figure it out. Then they win again. 92, 93, they win. We all know what happens to MJ. They come back and they win another three-peat, 3 in a row. MJ was MJ, right? There's another level to where he was able to take his game because he bought into this idea of team basketball. So why do I tell you that story?
What did I tell y'all? I've been saying this about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a dominant player. But Michael Jordan didn't start dominating the league until he got a team around him. That's when he started dominating the league. That's when he started winning championships. When they started putting teams around Michael Jordan. Teams win championships. Players don't win championships. Larry Bird has said so many things about Michael Jordan. I heard Larry Bird say last night that God came down disguised. Michael Jordan was God disguised as Michael Jordan. That's how great he said Michael Jordan was. But I've told y'all this over and over and over. Dominant players cannot dominate unless they get a team around them. Without a team around them, they're going to do what they do. That's the problem. They're going to do what they do. That's it. They're going to put up points. They're going to be the best at whatever they do. Their ability, they're going to show it to you. They're never going to show you championships until you put a team around them. This is exactly what Mike McDaniel is talking about. And that's why when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, the reason why Mike McDaniel is one of only 7 coaches to win a Super Bowl in his second season as a head coach of an NFL football team is because Mike McDaniel came in and put together a culture, put together a team that while everyone else will tell you that if you want to win the Super Bowl, you got to go get the best quarterback in the league. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to go get Myles Garrett. You have to go get Max Crosby. You have to go get Michael Parsons. Mike McDaniel said, nah, we don't need that. We got a good culture. We've had a great draft. We've had great drafts. We've done some great things in free agency. Let's go get Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, who was on his 3rd chance. Let's go get Sam Darnold. He looked really good with the Minnesota Vikings last year. The Minnesota Vikings said, we'll choose McCarthy, J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. How about we go get Sam Darnold? We don't pay him as the highest quarterback in the league. Let's go get Sam Darnold. He's good enough on our team. We need somebody. We got good defensive tackles, great defensive tackles. How about we go get, rather than getting the top paid edge rusher, how about we go get DeMarcus Lawrence? Yeah, I know after the 2023 season, he said the Cowboys were tired. I know he only played 4 or 5 games with the Cowboys in 2020, or was it 2024? How about we bring in DeMarcus Lawrence? Yeah, we're not trying to have the best player at every position. We want to have the best team in the NFL. And guess what the Seattle Seahawks did? They went and won the Super Bowl with the very mentality that Mike McDaniel is talking about. Team. And this is what the Cowboys are doing. This is why with Dak Prescott, I don't care no more. I don't care if they rank Dak Prescott from this day forward at number 32. I don't care. He's good enough to win the Super Bowl. That's the only thing that matters. He's good enough to win the Super Bowl. The only thing I'm concerned about now with the Dallas Cowboys, put a team around Dak Prescott. Put a team around Dak Prescott. And I'm not like a lot of people. I don't think they need Max Crosby. I don't think they need fill in the blank. just get players that fit the system and can come into this culture and help you contribute to winning. That's what you need. Because for every time somebody tells me that if we get this player and that player and this player, it puts us over the top, I'm going to ask you the same question again. Well, how good is DeMarcus Lawrence? How good is Sam Darnold? They didn't ask Sam Darnold to play outside of himself. They didn't tell Sam Darnold to elevate the team. No, they just told him, don't destroy the team. Don't turn the ball over, doggone it. Play conservative. Play smart. Live for the next play. Throw it away. Don't take any risk. We got a defense that's good enough. We can get the ball back. That's what they did. And when I heard this, it solidified it. This is why they won a Super Bowl. They got a whole different mentality than a lot of people have.
Like, in the NFL, guys, I really believe this, that the secret sauce of the NFL is connection. What if everybody was on the same page, going in the same direction, playing off one another, building each other up, not caring who gets the credit, and just going? And where could that take us? What if we could get the whole building involved in just creating this vision of who we want to become all the time? This is how we know when we go into games that we have the competitive advantage, because we have this in our corner. All right, and this is the time of year to make it come to life.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. Guru, I'm not buying what you're saying. No, because Howie Roseman has shown you can do it. Sean McVay has shown you can do it. I'm not buying you can't build a team around a quarterback eating up $60 million in salary cap. It's mythology. It's a lie. The Philadelphia Eagles not only had a quarterback that was eating up $50+ million, they also gave him a running back that was eating up massive amounts of money. A receiver that was eating up massive, not one, but two, eating up massive amounts of money. They had various players on their team eating up massive amounts of money, and they still won the Super Bowl. And I don't know what you're talking about with Micah Parsons. We're going to look back on the Micah Parsons trade, and it's going to be one of the second greatest trades this team was ever made. This team was going nowhere with Micah Parsons. It's one of the best things we ever did. Ain't nobody trading Micah Parsons ain't hunting nobody. Everybody's glad, but you obviously. ain't nobody worried about Micah Parsons. The Cowboys are going to accomplish way more than they ever accomplished with Micah Parsons. As Green Bay, they're going to suffer the same way. They're going to suffer the same way. They're going to find out the hard way, the same way the Cowboys found out. You can't build your team on one player, man. You can't. Can't do it. It's futility. Amber Soprano said, right, if you get the players in the right mindset and is willing to turn into savages, you can use anybody. It's right. It's absolutely right. Every time somebody tells me you're going to get one of these top pass rushers and you're going to win the Super Bowl, well, again, I'll tell you the same thing over and over again. Show me the highest paid edge rusher who's won the Super Bowl again. Show them to me. Because you can't. They don't exist. They're not the end all to be all. All right. Let's go to these next. This is a quick hit right here. I want to go to this injury issue with the Cowboys. I want to go to this injury issue. And again, this is very concerning. It's very concerning to me that we have now. Let me see if I can pull this up again. This report by Tommy Yarish, I think it was, very concerning to me. And I don't want to blow this off as just nothing. Very concerning to me. There are 3 players that I'm getting a little bit concerned about. I said concerned, not overly concerned. But there are 3 players that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about Jalen Thompson. I'm very concerned about Jalen Thompson. What is going on with Jalen Thompson? He wasn't at OTAs because of an oblique or something going on with that. Now he's got a hip flexor. In training camp? What is going on? I'm very concerned about my favorite free agent pickup, Jalen Thompson. I'm very concerned. I'm also concerned about Tyler Guyton. It says here, let's read this real quick. Right after Brian Schottenheimer announces that Tyler Guyton, there's no more competition. Well, I think in the grand scheme of things, competition is back in the conversation. Because Tyler Guyton missed some of the end of practice with a sore elbow. This man, to me, can't afford to miss any reps. And linebacker DeMario Overshown dealing with a sore leg. You're talking about Guyton and Overshown, who have missed significant time with injuries. We're going to see how this turns out. Hope it turns out to be nothing. But whenever I start hearing Overshown, sore leg, after what he's been through, can't help but be concerned. This is why I say for Overshown being the Mike linebacker, well, one of the requirements of being the Mike is you got to stay on the field. You got to stay on the field. If you can't stay on the field, what you can't do nothing. You can't do anything. What's going on, Rex? You said the old shows are being dubbed in Portuguese for the Brazilian market. Funny because a lot of your sayings do not translate, but all good. Let's go, Cowboys. Yes, sir. So, again, man, I'm just telling us. I'm concerned about this injury stuff, man. I'm concerned about this injury stuff. I really am. So, we're just going to see. We're just going to see. We'll see how it turns out. You know, we're not going to overreact to it. But whenever I hear injuries, I mean, even if they're just light injuries, I'm very concerned about that stuff. Actually concerned about that stuff, especially from two players who have just suffered nothing but injuries over the last couple of seasons. That's all they've done. So we're really going to need these players, man. We're going to need all hands on deck, man. To win Super Bowls, you win Super Bowls with teams. You need all hands on deck. If possible, man, you need all hands on deck. I know there will be some casualties. It's a battle of attrition. But you want to stay healthy in all the major areas. You know, you want to stay healthy in all the major areas. And again, man, it's all hands on deck. And so I'm not buying this stuff with Tyler Guyton, and they're talking about, yeah, man, Tyler Guyton, there's no more competition. No, I think Guyton himself is going to make it a competition. If he can't stay on the field, he's going to make it a competition in itself. I mean, your best ability is availability. You can't stay on the field, bruh. It is a competition, whether anyone likes it or not. I want to see if I can play something else really well. One of the things about Colin Cowherd, let me play this. JCT Slice, you were talking about this the other day. Colin Cowherd is always flip-flopping when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. And Colin Cowherd, let me see if I can let you hear something that Colin Cowherd said about Dak Prescott. I'm going to pull up the image of him, and I'm going to play what he said on the other side. Let me see if we can pull this off with Colin Cowherd. And even if we can, I mean, we'll just put a bunch of pictures of him up on the screen. How about that? Let's see if we can play what he said.
Dak is aging really well. Dak's a guy that's just disciplined, compartmentalizes things, smart, thoughtful. Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he's second all-time in completion percentage top 6 in touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating, teams points per game. It's all-time stuff. He doesn't have a lot of playoff moments. 3 different head coaches, meddling owner, high-profile, noisy media, another coach called Prescott the cockroach of the league for his ability to keep playing at a high level no matter what. Like, that's Dak. Dak is aging really, really well.
Yeah, bottom line. See, a lot of people are realizing this about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has played well even when Jerry didn't have good teams around him. So we're going to continue to see Dak Prescott, I believe, continue to improve and play. We're going to see him continue to play well. All right, so let's see if we can skip over here real quick. We got a couple of more. Vinny Holtz. What you think about that Seattle Seahawks segment, bro? What you think? Vinny, 49ers on the decline. This is a great year for the Cowboys to be getting better. I only see 2 teams, Vinny, standing in the way of the Dallas Cowboys on the schedule this year. The only 2 teams I see standing in the way of the Dallas Cowboys are the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. They're the only teams that's going to be a problem. The Rams are going to be a problem because they're just going to be uber talented. Aaron Donald is coming back. I think we pretty much all know this. Aaron Donald, they got Myles Garrett. They already had these other players. They got McDuffie and other players. The Rams are going to be a problem for the entire NFC. The other team that's going to be a problem for the NFC is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. And just because they're a very good team, bottom line, they're just a very good team. And the other team, and I don't see any other team being a problem for the Cowboys. I don't see any other team in the NFC being a problem for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be, it's going to be tough going. They're going to have to get that, the defense. We'll see what it looks like as they keep going. But I think they're going to hit their stride quicker than people believe. We're going to hit a part in that schedule I call the Philly schedule. They should be able to get about 4 to 5 wins in that. 3 to 4 wins in the first 4 to 5 games. And then on the back end, they'll probably get another 2 to 3, maybe even 4. So I only see 2 teams, and they're going to play them this year. They're going to get a taste of what they're going to be like. So I only see 2 teams. And let me add a third team. Let me put some respect on the Chicago Bears. I see 3 teams. I'm not as afraid of the Chicago Bears, but I see 3 teams. Rams, Seahawks, Bears, just because Ben Johnson is the coach. Those are the only 3 teams. And fortunately enough, the way the seeding may fall, I don't think the Cowboys will see all 3 of them. They'll only have to face probably 2 of the 3. So I'm feeling pretty good. It's a good year to be on the uprise like the Cowboys are. It's a good year to do it. I think the Rams and the Seahawks one of them will knock each other out before the Cowboys even see them. Vinny says the Rams have the weight of the world on their shoulders. It's kind of nice. Vinny, anything other than a Super Bowl win is failure. There's no other way around it. It's failure. NFC Championship game is not enough. Making it to the Super Bowl is not enough. If they don't win the Super Bowl, Vinny, failure. Bottom line, absolute failure. So I'm feeling pretty good about what the Cowboys are. All right, let's get the rest of these segments out, man. We're going to get out of here for the night. I only planned on being on at 2:30. Now it's 3:30. So let's see here. Let's see if we can pull up Jaden Blue. I really like a lot of the things, man. Jaden Blue, man, I really think Shotty is shaping him into a nice young man. I really do. Shotty is, I don't always like the way Shotty sometimes comes at him, but at the same time, I think it's going to pay dividends for Jaden Blue because I think he needed it, especially when you showing up to camp in Louis Vuitton cleats, bruh. You know, you showed up in them doggone Louis Vuitton cleats. So I believe he worked on humbling him, and I think he's going to continue to do it. And at the same time, Jaden Blue is going to be a big
Time to
part of the
buy.
Cowboys.
It's all happening now at your Texas Ford dealer. Get 0 for 36 and 1,000 towards your down payment, plus a complimentary maintenance plan for 2 years.
Talk about how you're a different person
Mhm.
right now than you were this time last year. What does that mean specifically, and how are you putting that into play as you're stacking these good days out here?
Yeah, just being more intentional. Like I said, man, this all season, my main priority was just, making sure that I, stayed in the playbook and was doing the things that the coach was asking me to do. And, I took that, to the heart. And, like as you said,
I
I'm having a great camp so far. And, I didn't want to, come in here and start slow, like I did last year. I wanted to make sure, I came in here and started fast and proved myself.
And now that you've kind of dug deeper into the playbook and kind of you're studying it more and more and more, has the game started to slow down for you in your second training camp?
Yeah, absolutely, man. The game has slowed down a lot to me. It's kind of coming easy to me now. Like I said, man, I probably know the playbook like the back of my hand now. So, once I know the playbook like that, I can play fast.
It sounds like you took constructive criticism and did something about it.
Absolutely. I knew that there was some, constructive criticism that was going to come with it, but, that's all a part of it. And, I took that as motivation, and I also looked myself in the mirror like I got to be better, if I want to be where I want to be.
How key has Derek Foster been in your growth just, from year one to year two?
Yeah, man, he's, everything for me, man. Like I said, man, we have a really good relationship. He calls me, almost every day and makes sure I'm good. And, when we're here, man, he's standing in my ear. He's teaching me the things that I need to know. And, he's always pushing me to be the best version of myself.
What do you feel like your best moment at camp has been so far?
Man, really just, the explosiveness, just the big plays. Just showing that, I can, not only the vision, but, that I can also, be explosive in a running pass game.
How do you earn trust with people?
Man, just making sure I know what I'm doing, making sure that I'm, not making mental errors, making sure I know my assignment, and mainly just, performing on the field. I think that's the main thing, but, the first thing is just, making sure that I know my assignment so that, I can gain the trust of Dak, the coaching staff, and my teammates.
At the end of the day, you came in with Phil. I assume you all have a good relationship. How do you all balance that with also the competition element?
Yeah, like I said, man, we have a really good room. We all, love that. We push each other, to be our best every day, man. Like I said, we know it's a competition, but at the same time, we're trying to help each other and make each other better.
Well, you think about this, and everything that he's talking about, and, it's easy to take some of the criticism constructively, especially when I'm sure that inside of the constructive criticism, they're telling him how good he is. And not only are they telling him how good he is, but he also knows that he's good. This is why he was out there in them doggone Louis Vuitton cleats. So, the big thing for, Jaden Blue is just humbling him enough to get him focused on, if you want to really play in this league, what separates the men from the boys are the ones who don't just focus on physical ability. It's not about just between the hash marks and the sidelines. It's about what's going on between your ears. This is the biggest place they work with Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue was already explosive. Jaden Blue was already quick. Jaden Blue was already very versatile. And also, with him and Javonte, there's no competition. They're two different type of running backs. I said this last year. I believe Jaden Blue was always a part of the plan. I just think Javonte Williams was better than what Brian expected, and it gave him some leeway to where he could actually let Jaden Blue develop. But I think that Brian Schottenheimer realized something there towards the end, is that he needed another running back, because Javonte Williams didn't look the same by game 14. He was wore out. Javonte Williams was worn out by the time they played those last 3 games. You can't afford that this year. You can't afford that. You have got to be able to have Jaden Blue, not just Jaden Blue. You got to better have Phil Maffa. You got to have them all working in this so you can really keep Javonte Williams as fresh as possible so that he can truly dominate football games the way that you need him to. So, yeah, Blue's going to be Blue's gonna be good to go, I believe. He's gonna really be great for the Cowboys. Yeah, Amber. I think he'll get better. You can teach guys on how not to fumble. He had one fumble last year. I can't remember. Might have had two, but I think. But think about it. Javonte Williams had some crucial fumbles. He had some crucial fumbles, man. What was it? Chicago Bears, he had a fumble. Arizona Cardinals, he had a fumble. He had some crucial fumbles too. But because he's Javonte Williams, they gave him more leeway than they did Jaden Blue.
Shotty's talked about the battles between Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark in the interior that you guys have. Obviously, really good interior as well. You have a good viewpoint of that.
Yeah.
What are those battles like?
Man, those are probably, two of the best, D linemen in this league. It's very tough, but at the same time, it's good for us. For us, as running backs in the offense to be able to go against, two guys like that, in this league, it only makes us better.
How much do you have to be aware of them, too, as a running back? Like, hey, if Quinnen's here and I know I'm going there, he might beat that gap and I have to bounce off that.
Like I said, man, a lot of that is just, trusting our, preparation, taking from what we've been coaching in the meeting rooms and translating it to the field and, just having good eyes and knowing how they're going to play it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm hearing from Jaden Blue, man. You can tell he's a lot more mature. I'm actually liking it. So,
the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, a lot more mature, man. Everything that we're seeing from Jaden Blue, he's going to be a part of this thing, man. And I think he was always a part of the plan. He's always a part of the plan. They just got to get him ready and get him better mentally. And I think he is getting in that headspace where he needs to be, because they have got to keep Javonte Williams fresh. They got to keep him fresh, because I'm telling you, man, he did not look the same last year towards the end. He didn't look the same. He just looked like a running back that was battered. Man, this is if you're going to the Super Bowl, man, people got to understand something. It's a 20-game season. Super Bowl is a 20-game season. And if you're not careful, it's a 21-game season if you have to go through the wild card. 17 regular games, 3 playoff games, and then the Super Bowl. This is why right now Brian Schottenheimer's got him running after practice. He's trying to condition. Man, you got to be conditioned for a 21-game season. Everybody ain't built for that. It's a battle of attrition. It is. Gerald Mays, bro, I'm reading the chat too, bro. I ain't saying a lot tonight, man. I'm seeing it too, Gerald Mays. Gerald Mays said it's ridiculous. He said if we had Parsons, we make the playoffs. He said, guess if we had Sam Darnold, we win the Super Bowl right at this point. Yeah, bro, I'm with you on that, man. I see. We were going nowhere. You were not going anywhere. Making Michael Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback. How were you going to get one defensive tackle, let alone 2? Man, we're in the best position we've been in years. Man, I wish Michael Parsons all the luck in the world, except when he played the Dallas Cowboys and if we see him in the playoffs. Not signing Michael Parsons, one of the best things we ever did. Sometimes, man, you got to suffer to get better. And we got better without Michael Parsons. All right, this is Shavon Revel Jr. Shavon Revel Jr. He's another player that's kind of coming along. And I'm telling you, man, Shavon Revel Jr. so far, he looked like he's been looking like a first-round pick these first few days of camp.
California Bill Jones, joined by Cowboys back. Shavon Revel going into his second year, third-round pick last year, and I got it. All right off the bat, I got to read for you.
Man, I didn't realize Shavon Revel Jr. was wearing. I didn't realize he was wearing Darren Woodson's number.
A quote from your head coach this morning at the press conference.
Okay.
He said, Von had a very, very good day, your first day in pads. How does that make you feel?
Hey, it makes me feel great, but hey, the type of guy I am, you know what I mean? I don't have short-term memory when it comes to that. Obviously, I'm you know what I mean, excited for the first day of practice for what I did, doing what it turned out to be. I just think about the next day ahead and what I could do better. So, you know, like any other DB, watch film and see what I could do better. So that day ain't really stick. That day ain't really stick to me. You know what I mean? Today's practice wasn't as good as yesterday's practice, but that doesn't mean anything. I can also perform better just by watching film and fixing my errors.
But you have the mind of a cornerback, you don't
short-term memory, man.
Exactly
Short-term memory.
What happened yesterday. So how are things going for you now that you're fully healthy and you seem to be playing with a lot of confidence out there?
Great, man. I'm learning a lot from CP, DA, Derek Ainsley.
Yeah, Drake Johnson, I didn't know he was wearing number 28.
Maybe our safety coach. I'm learning a lot from
Oh yeah, he was 34. He was Earl Campbell number. I can't get with a defensive back wearing 34. I can't get with that, bro. You got to be in them 20s.
Damn, they trying to teach me the game. They know I got all three aspects in the game. I can tackle. I'm real physical. I got long arms and I'm fast. So now they're just trying to teach me the mind part. You know what I mean?
Man, they said this dude's wingspan. Is like he's got one of the biggest wingspans in the league, man.
Because it's also, I always had trouble with that part. Because, you know, I was always a press man guy. I was always at the line of scrimmage, level 1 type of guy. So right now, I'm just taking it all in, learning little piece by piece from each coach and just taking it all in, man.
You know, what's amazing, what a lot of people don't realize just how much of a mental thing it is at this level and how cerebral players have to be and the communication process. It is pretty intense out there, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, especially when you're going against guys like
Miss Majors, you still up?
GP, especially a guy like.
Miss Majors said that's a fair statement, G. Michael being the highest paid would get us nowhere, just like making Deck the highest paid heaven. And so, you know, you think about it, Miss Matrix, you can have a highest paid quarterback or one of the highest paid quarterbacks and you can make it. But it's hard to have the highest paid quarterback and the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid, especially the money that Michael Parsons was asking for. And also, and the issue and the question was, Miss Matrix, you think about it. How are we going to get the left tackle? I mean, how are we going to get the defensive tackles? How are we going to get them? If we were going to draft them, those take about 3 years to develop. I mean, if you get a great one, maybe you're lucky and they just come out the box, come right out the box and they're banging. But it's going to take 1, 2, 3 years. How many years to develop a good defensive tackle? If you're going to trade for one and you already got Michael on that deal, how are you going to get the defensive tackles? And really, you don't need one because we already had Oso Digizua. No, you needed two. You needed two. The Cowboys got the money tied up where they need to have it tied up. Tie that money up in the defensive tackles and just get you a couple of good edge rushers. Rashawn Gary, people are not giving him enough credit. He's good enough. He's good enough. That don't mean that you don't bring in somebody else to help Rashawn Gary if you can. If you can get somebody at a good price, or trade a draft pick away, and you can bring in somebody, you wouldn't even, at this point with those defensive tackles, you wouldn't even have to get somebody better than Rashawn Gary. If you just brought in somebody equally as good as Rashawn Gary, both of them coming off the edge with Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, oh, you still balling. You still balling. And again, we'll see what happens. Maybe once the Raiders figure out that, having Max Crosby doesn't make sense for them, because really in the grand scheme of things, Max Crosby doesn't make sense for the Raiders. They're not going to be competitive for the next 2 to 3 years. They got about another 2 years of building. Max Crosby don't make sense. So if you let go of Max Crosby, maybe by the time, we get to the trade deadline, they'll be looking at less, they'll be willing to take less for a Max Crosby. Plus some of the money will kind of already be ate up. And so then maybe the Cowboys, if that money is right, maybe then they'll decide, okay, maybe we will go get Max Crosby if it's cheaper at the trade deadline. But I'm like you, Vinny. I like the way we're building it, though. I think we're building it right. I think we're building it with young guys, hungry guys, sprinkling a veteran or two here that can be very impactful. And I think you're going to be on to something. I really do. And I think people are discounting. I just think people are underestimating Rashawn Gary. 7 sacks out of the first 8 games when everybody was healthy on Green Bay. I believe Rashawn Gary will get double-digit sacks if the Cowboys remain healthy on defense. He's got Kenny. He's got Quinnen. He's going to be running with Ezraku, D. Winters, Overshown, Malachi Lawrence, Jayshawn Barham. Oh, he's going to have all kinds of opportunities. He's going to have all kinds of opportunities. You watch what I tell you.
Quarterback, Dak Prescott, of course, you know what I mean? You got to have that knowledge of knowing what you're doing, what they might run, what formation they're getting into. And sometimes you don't want to overthink. You might get in trouble. You might get lost. You want to play too fast. Slow down the game. That's what I had to learn. Slow down the game, take it slow, but know your assignment.
I was quick to point out it's Shavon Revel Jr.
Shavon Revel Jr.
I want to talk about you growing up in North Carolina, and your dad posted a video of you and your brother fully padded in the living room playing tackle football as a kid.
Yeah. I can tell you a little bit about that, man. I played for the Winston-Salem Indians. We was gold and burgundy.
Yeah, that's the point, Guru.
After practice,
we got 2 defensive tackles that's going to require, especially Quinnen Williams. He's going to require a lot of attention. Gary should eat with. Gary should absolutely eat with Quinnen Williams.
After coming back from practice, you know what I mean, I got a little one-on-one action with my older brother, Shavon Revel. It wasn't the greatest thing, but man, my dad taught me like that heart and that grit is what's gonna get you far. And like going against him, and it was funny that day. It was raining, so I'm thinking, we ain't doing nothing today. Man, he said, suit up. We finna hit in the living room. Man, telling that man no, don't ask him no questions, just get to it, man. That's just what type of father my dad was. You know, he just wanted us to be great, and man, it got me here. So he taught me something.
And he talks about the journey that you've had.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what that journey's been like. You're really going back to high school for you.
Yeah, it's going back to high school. You know, I mean, I wasn't as good as, you know, I ain't gonna say as good. I was a good student, but I didn't focus on my grades, and obviously that got me to JUCO. I mean, freshman year, sophomore year, I wasn't really focused on my grades because I was a small guy. I wasn't the smartest one in the film room or on the football field, so I focused on my body a lot. I mean, wasn't a bad student, just didn't focus on my grades, and that kind of, you know, brought me down. I wasn't eligible to go D1, so trying to catch up my 11th, 12th grade year, wasn't able to, but I continued, you know what I mean? My mom had a big yard, backyard, side of the yard. She had a little concrete little hill that everybody drive past, you know what I mean? Had some cones that my dad gave me, some hurdles. You know what I mean? I used that platform, and I used the man cave he had at his house. They didn't live together at that time, but at that time they did have a lot of things that I had access to, you know what I mean? My dad had the man cave with the weights in it. I continued to work out. Didn't have no offers. I mean, interest didn't mean anything to me because at the end of the day, I know. You know what I mean? I didn't blame my parents. I didn't blame my teachers. You know, I blamed myself. I had to hold myself accountable. You know what I mean? I ain't look down on it, man. It was a journey. You know what I mean? Like anybody else have a different journey. They don't stop right there. And after my 12th grade year, after no offers, you know what I mean? I just kept grinding. One day I just got a call from my dad. I mean, obviously I know I worked at Amazon. I'm tired of that story. I'm tired of that story myself.
Yeah, right, working overnight.
I'm tired of that story myself. Working overnights at Amazon, you know what I mean? I continue to still work out. I got one call from my dad just saying, Lewisburg want to offer you real small JUCO community college, small city, small town actually in Lewisburg, North Carolina. Nothing much out there, you know what I mean?
Pandemic.
Pandemic, COVID. When I got there, you know, my mindset was, okay, I got access to a field. I got access to a weight room, free access to a weight room. The food wasn't the best, but I still ate. You know what I mean? My dad and my mom made sure I had what I needed at that time. But, you know what I mean? I looked at it as another opportunity. You know what I mean? I looked at it like I was going to Alabama because all I had to do was start over. I had to start over and just take a different step. You know what I mean? Go back and look back what I used to do and what I did and what didn't get me where I wanted to be. But I can't say that's not where I wanted to be because at the end of the day, I'm here. That journey taught me a lot of lessons.
And that's like not to mention even all the injuries that you had.
Oh, man, yeah, all the injuries in high school, you know, it was very emotional in high school because I was never like, I always thought like I was going to be small forever because, you know what I mean, when you break something, you limited to the amount of things you can do. And like I broke my shoulder, my finger, I tore, you know what I mean, I tore a lot of.
Oh, man, I didn't know
you. A lot of things. But
wait a minute, wait, hold on a second, bro. Hold on. Hold on, Shavon Revel Jr. Come on, man. Hold on. I didn't know you had all them injuries, bro. Wait a minute. What in the world? This dude just said he had all kinds of injuries in high school. What in the world? Slow down, bro. Man, I hope you, hey, I hope you, man, we don't want to see no more of that stuff, bro.
Like, prevent me from doing what I wanted to do. And at that time, you know what I mean, it was hard on me. But at the end of the day, I also looked at my sister, Shakira Carson. She was fighting through diabetes. She passed away about 3 years ago. Yeah, and I was just seeing how hard she was fighting. And I was always that type. I was always that kid. Like I got it. I got it in me. You know what I mean? Because I went back to JUCO. I got my A's and B's. I had a few C's. I got my A's and B's. I did what I had to do. But at the end of the day, man, it's just the journey. You just don't give up, man. You never know what God is opening the door for you, man. Yeah.
And at East Carolina, 2023 season, I think you were second in the nation in completion percentage against as a cornerback.
Yeah.
Quinyon Mitchell was first at Toledo.
What'd you say, Elvis Soprano? You said he gonna have bad arthritis?
With the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. And you could be the Quinyon Mitchell here with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what do you think about that?
It's great, man. Obviously, I don't want to be Quinyon Mitchell. I'm trying to be Shavon Revel. I'm trying to be the best.
Right, yeah.
I'm trying to reach my goal, man. My goal is to.
I'm excited for Shavon Revel Jr. though. Shavon Revel Jr. is basically explaining that he got it out the dirt. He had to work hard. He had to overcome adversity. You like guys like that. You really do. Adversity builds character, especially the right adversity. You know, when the adversity is not bad things, it's just things happen in your life that you want something, but you got to overcome obstacles that, you know, maybe it's out of your control, you know, bone breaks and stuff like that. And so, man, he's went on the path of the NFL, and he looks like right now, I'm telling you, if he can stay healthy, oh my gosh. Yeah, hey, Vinny, I'm telling you, Vinny, a lot of people, I think, wanted Shavon Revel Jr. I don't think he was going to make it past the third. I really don't. I don't think he was going to make it past the third. I don't. I think it was about to be over. I really do.
Be the best, and if it's not now, it's going to come. And I'm confident to say that. Christian Parker, like I said, he's taking the steps, and he's taking the time with me. He's being patient with me. He's teaching me the steps. He's teaching me one day at a time what I need to fix, and it's up to me to go back and fix it. And like I said, I can't leave these guys out because also D.A., Derek Ainsley.
I told y'all earlier, I'm going to tell you again. Christian Parker is going to turn Shavon Revel Jr. into one of the top defensive backs in this game. This is just what he does. This is what he does, man.
Schmitty, they also doing a job to support me throughout this process. So, yeah, man.
So when you walk out on the field every day here at training camp, and with knowing your story, how much motivation do you have to make the most of this opportunity?
I mean, I don't just, you know what I mean? I don't just look at myself, you know what I mean? I mean, I look around. I look at everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody's working. Like, you out here, you know, guys that they can't see is out here, you know what I mean? We all going through a lot of things, you know. I have no excuse to not come out here and give it my all. And that's just how I look at it, you know what I mean? God woke me up every morning. That's an opportunity. Each morning I wake up is an opportunity for me to get better. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's gonna happen. And that's just how I look at it. Take a deep breath before I come out in the practice field. Take a deep breath, blow it out. It's time to work. That's just how I look at it.
And so what's going to happen for Shavon Revel Jr. this year with the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, they gonna see it, man. I'm gonna give them my all, bro. I'm gonna give them the best teammate, the best coachable player, whatever they want to call it. I'm there for them. So yeah.
All right, Shavon, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man.
That's
yes,
Shavon Revel Jr.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys.
And I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys were really smart. One of the smartest things the Cowboys did, and people might not realize it, one of the smartest things the Cowboys did when they brought in Shavon Revel Jr. and they brought in Devin Moore, one of the smartest things they did before they went and got Devin Moore is they got Cobie Durant. Cobie Durant is one of the best pickups the Cowboys have gotten. It's one of the best pickups because Cobie Durant buys them another year to see what Shavon Revel Jr. is. Buys them another year to see what he is. And then we get to see also, okay, will Deron Bland bounce back this year? And it gives us another year to say, okay, do we need to go get us another cornerback? Even though I think Devin Moore is going to be one of the cornerbacks. So the Cowboys, man, getting Cobie Durant really gives Shavon Revel Jr. that opportunity to, get out there on the field. And he might not have to be out there on the field all the time, but he'll get to work himself into a point to where he might start being on the field the entire time. But boy, once they get Shavon Revel Jr. going, if Shavon Revel Jr. can be what he was at East Carolina and really get this game, I'm telling you, you are watching your new number one cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys. You're watching him. And he's going to turn out to probably be the steal of the draft, or the draft that we had in 2025. All right, man, this is the last segment for tonight. Again, I said I was going to be off at 2:30. It's 4 o'clock. But again, as long as y'all rolling it up, I guess I'm up too. So I came across this today. And I don't know if y'all saw this. They put this out there on X. Thought it was very interesting. The team, kind of how Christian Parker talked about earlier. See if I can get this to load up. It's saying now can't load up. But the team got together, looks like today, and did some team bonding. Let's see if we can get this to pull up. All right, so Cowboys been doing some team bonding. Let me see if this will come up for me now. There it is. Cowboys have been doing some team bonding. Y'all see this today? Cowboys have been doing some team bonding. Andre Johnson, he said you get off work in 2 hours. Oh, you work overnight? Oh, I know why you enjoy Cowboys. I know why you enjoy Cowboys after dark, boy. That help your time go fast, don't it? All right, I don't know if you saw this. Cowboys have gotten together and, man, they out here bonding, bro. They really are. They out here having some fun, man. Have y'all seen all this? Even got old Brandon Aubrey out there. I recognize Brandon Aubrey, Tyler Guyton. Really pulling for Tyler Guyton. Oh, Amber, you at work too? Y'all can listen to y'all phones at work. Man, that's good, man. That's good. Now, y'all get ready, because when the football season starts, man, I'm going to have to be drinking jungle juice and everything, man. Because I always do Cowboys After Dark during the season, so we're going to be doing 2 or 3 nights a week. I know we're going to be doing it on probably at least 2 nights a week. We'll see when we do it, but probably be them Sunday nights after the game and stuff like that. But, yeah, this is... They got the Cowboys in here rocking, man. Think that's Sam Williams. Recognize Jaden Blue easily. They having some fun, man. And then I'm going to show you the video here in just a moment. A lot of people have been asking what's going on with CeeDee Lamb. Patrick Walker is the one who has been asking this. He's asking, what's going on with CeeDee Lamb? Patrick Walker has been saying that CeeDee Lamb doesn't seem to have the same amount of energy that he had before. And I don't know. I really don't know. I can't even put my finger on it. I'm not even going to try to put my finger on it. But I think maybe now, listen to Klayton Adams. Maybe Klayton Adams gave us some answers. Klayton Adams was calling plays. And Klayton Adams said he thought that CD was going to be in one place and he was in another one, meaning that it was basically his fault. So maybe that was the issue. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe he wasn't into it as much, or his energy wasn't up, is because, I don't know. But what's name has been saying that his energy hasn't been as good, and I'm just wondering what that is. Boy, Vinny, you ain't lying, boy. I mean, I've been talking about it. Boy, when Shotty was in Seattle, he just improved year after year after year. All right, and then this is the video. They've been playing some kind of game over here. I don't know what it is they're doing. See if we can play some sound. Hopefully it's not no music. Yeah, I don't know what this is they doing.
Come on! My team won. Head, shoulders, toes, knees, ball. Man, you better lose.
I'll tell you one thing you can say about Tyler Guyton. I'm pulling for Tyler Guyton. This dude is an athlete, man. This dude, Tyler Guyton, is an athlete, man. boy, this dude ain't built like your regular left tackle. This dude is an athlete. I am really pulling for this dude. He just got to stay on the field. Stay on the field. Stop missing reps. Stay on the field. Learn how to play through some pain. Don't play through pain that's going to damage your career, but learn how to play through some pain. Learn how to play through it. Because in this league, one thing we know, everybody's hurt by midseason. Everybody's dealing with something. I don't care if it's a finger, a toe, anything. Something with a strain. Everybody's dealing with something. Learn how to play through some things. This dude is I'm telling you, if this man can stay healthy, he is going to be a beast. He just got to keep getting the reps, man.
Come on! Stay down. You lost your first matchup. Hey, but my team won.
I'm going to tell you, Sue, man. Turpin, shoot. For Turpin to be as small as he is and be in this league, man, Turpin a dog, man. Turpin a dog.
My team won. Yo! Shoulders, head, ball.
Yeah, man. Cowboys, I'm telling y'all, bro, they doing some things different, man. They doing some things different. I love all the stuff they're doing, all the bonding they're doing off the field. You know, and the reason why you do this stuff is you want the team to have each other's back on the field. So when they find themselves in tough situations, they can pull together and pull it off. This is kind of what they're doing. I mean, it makes sense what they're doing. You know, I understand what they're doing, but I just love a lot of this team building stuff. You know, Brian Schottenheimer, you know, especially when you're talking about, you know, this is the new NFL. They're doing as much as they can within the collective bargaining agreement. They're doing as much as they can. So, you know, I'm feeling good about what the Cowboys are. Stephen Jones, I like some of the stuff Stephen Jones been saying. They got a lot of wood left to chop. They're doing a lot of evaluating still. They just got to keep on keeping on. You know, everybody's getting used to everybody. Everybody's working and everything. So just, you know, I'm excited. I think by the time the season comes, the season starts, everything's going to come together. the Cowboys got 2 opportunities. Actually, they still got 3 opportunities to improve the team, and I think they're going to be working on that. They're going to have, people are going to start cutting players after the first preseason game. They're going to be cutting players after the second preseason game. I'm sure the Cowboys already have their eyes on people that could potentially get cut. And then by the time the first game of the season starts, there'll be people who'll get cut. Cowboys are going to still have opportunities. And then the Cowboys will probably see where they are by the time the trade deadline comes. What's the progress of the team? All those things. And once they see what the progress of the team is, I really think the big move for the Cowboys is going to be at the trade deadline. I really do. I think the big trade for the Cowboys may be at the trade deadline. I'm not sure to be before the trade deadline. I think they'll probably bring in another player or two before the trade deadline, but I don't think the big fish, if they decide to go get another big fish, I don't think it'll be until the trade deadline. So we're going to see what happens. I think we're going to look at it over the next few days. Let me see something. I think they already have the list out there. Before we get out of here, let's see. I think they still have a list out here. See here. All right, so let's look real quick before we get out of here. These are the top free agents still available. I'm telling us right now, Cowboy fans, if I were the Dallas Cowboys, I would seriously be looking at Taylor Decker. I'm sorry, I would. I don't care if Taylor Decker just comes in and sits on the bench. If I can get Taylor Decker, I want Taylor Decker. I really do. If I was the Cowboys, I'd seriously consider getting Taylor Decker. Joey Bosa, he made a glass. I don't think he'll make it. For as much as I wouldn't mind having Joey Bosa, man, I just don't think Bosa will make it. Says he played in 14 games over the last 2 seasons. Injuries limited him, man, in a total of 13 games. I can't do it with Joey Bosa. Cam Robinson, he could be somebody you could consider. Kevin Zeitler, let's see, Jonnu Smith. I don't know about Bobby Wagner, man. I don't know if Bobby Wagner fits what the Cowboys are trying to do. Y'all tell me what you think. Nope on Diggs. I'm actually surprised, though. I'm serious. If I were the Cowboys, I would seriously consider Hassan Reddick. I really would. I would seriously consider Hassan Reddick. He had 2.5 sacks, 23 pressures last year. Because my thing is just lining him up opposite of Rashawn Gary sometimes. Donovan Wilson still hadn't found a job. So these are the top, I guess they're considering these the top 11. So if there was one of these guys I would probably be looking at, it would be Taylor Decker. Yeah, Taylor Decker. Yeah, Bosa problem guru. I don't know about MAGA. but Bosa's biggest problem is injuries, man. That's his biggest issue. That dude just made a Vinny Holtz. I'm gonna tell you right now. I think Von Miller is the guy. The Cowboys don't need somebody to help them stop the run. If there's one thing they've built this year is a run-stopping defense. If people are concerned about rushing the passer, Von Miller's your guy. If all you want him to do is rush the passer, Von Miller's your guy. I believe Von Miller is good enough that he would bring the additional pressure that you need. Bring in Von Miller. I'm not going to be surprised if the Cowboys bring in Von Miller. I think they're probably still waiting, probably kind of gauging kind of what the price may be. Maybe they want to see a little bit more. Probably want to get past the Rams scrimmage, see if they can get some pressure off the edge with Rashawn Gary. Because I don't think Rashawn Gary is the problem. The problem is Donovan Ezeraku. Will Donovan Ezeraku be able to improve and bring some pressure from his side? And if you bring James Houston on that side, will he be able to do something, do a little something? But if neither one of those can do something, Rashawn Gary is fine. You need somebody opposite of Rashawn Gary. And I think that's where they're going to probably start looking at probably Von Miller. Because that's what they need. The run, they're fine. If they need an edge rusher or, get that quarterback pressure, it's Von Miller. It's Von Miller. Somebody sent me something. Poobie D sent me something the other day. And Von Miller, he was at Oxnard, California. Yeah. Von Miller was at Oxnard, California. So, we're going to see. Worley. Gary going to eat. I'm telling us, man, Gary's got a defense around him. He's going to eat. When the Green Bay Packers were healthy, Rashawn Gary was eating. He was eating when they were healthy. And with Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, those guys around him, I think Rashawn Gary going to eat. I do. I think he's going to eat. Absolutely. And if they can get, you bring in a Von Miller, you line Von Miller opposite of Rashawn Gary, you got Rashawn Gary, Von Miller, Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark coming at you. You're going to be able to do some things. But again, hey, we got a long, even though it's only about 6 weeks left, that's still a long training camp. And you never know what player could shake down to the Dallas Cowboys. You just never know. You never know what player could shake down. Who knows who could approach the Cowboys with a trade or who the Cowboys could approach for a trade. So, man, I'm excited about everything that we're doing. We just got to keep working one day at a time, Cowboys Nation. One day at a time. And I believe we're going to get to where we all want to get, and we're going to get to that Super Bowl. Cowboys are going to have an opportunity. There's a lot of things that we don't know about. We got a lot of things going to happen in camp. Other people's camps too. There'll be other players available, all kinds of things. So we just got to keep working, keep evaluating, keep our eyes open for players that somebody might want to shake loose. And man, who knows? With some luck, with our coaching, with our players, all the hard work, I think we're going to get what we want. Yeah, hard work pays, Christian Kreiner. Hard work pays. We're going to get what we want. Yeah, Ronan, like the Creed movies, we're going to get what we want, man. We're going to get what we want. All right, Cowboys fans, man, it is 4:22. We're going to do it all over again later on today, probably in about 12 to 13 hours. Cowboys today practice at about 1:45 Central. I'll be collecting all kinds of whatever's going on out there with Cowboys news because I'll be up I'll probably go to sleep for a couple hours, be back up around 7 or 8 o'clock, no later than 9 or 10. And I'll be back to collecting all of the latest Cowboys news, Cowboys plays, anything else we can use. We'll be back today sometime between 4:30 and 5:30. Y'all hit that notification bell. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Hit that like button on the way out. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys where we talk facts. Peace.